Going live. Okay, so we are live as it seems.
Guess so.
Let's see how that works out. I hope that video and audio is all good. It's the first time we're doing this.
Yeah.
First time we're doing a live stream.
And let us know in the chat if something goes wrong, if the audio is not working, or if you have any other kind of issues. Because
I mean, we have this slight delay, but hopefully soon people should.
Can anybody in the chat write something like, yes, we can see you, I can see you?
But I think it's working.
Hello. Yeah, hello.
Okay, that looks good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we decided to do this because we hit 500,000 subscribers, and that's just amazing. And it's obviously because of you all. And we thought it might be a nice occasion to do like a Ask Me Anything session. We collected a bunch of questions on Discord, and you can of course also post there, and in the YouTube chat. We're just going to switch back and forth, and we'll try to answer questions there.
And that's actually the idea. So it's an interactive session, you could say. And yeah, if you have anything on your mind, post it in the chat or in the Discord community. We won't answer every question, but we try our best to do so. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I see we got lots of questions coming in already in YouTube, and we got questions in Discord. So let's dive right in. You can see the Discord screen here. So maybe we start with those, but we'll also have a look at the YouTube chat.
Yeah.
And if we miss something, this will not be the last stream probably. So let's maybe start.
Yeah, with the Corona question.
With the Corona question.
It's a good one. Yeah, I mean, obviously we try to keep a distance, but if you work together, we cannot avoid this. At the moment, we are healthy, I guess. So yeah, in the private life, we do our best to follow the rules, but in the working environment, you could say it's just impossible. So you're okay.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, so how much do I need to learn to create cheats for games or something like this? That's a nice question. Yeah, I guess to create cheats for games depends on the game, depends on the cheat. In general, we get a lot of such. How much do I need to learn? How many hours? How many weeks? We get these questions a lot. And I think this is hard to answer because learning for one never stops. And in addition, it really depends on your level, where you're coming from, what you want to learn. I mean, when we talk about making games, the person who created Stardew Valley, not sure if you know that game, but the person who built that actually learned to code whilst he built the game. Also quite interesting approach, especially if you consider that Stardew Valley sold millions of copies.
Not the worst thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So it depends, but you can learn whilst you do something. I think that's pretty good approach.
Yeah.
Then if we scroll on, that's also a question we get a lot.
Yeah, more business question, you could say. What's the future for Academind? And yeah, I guess we don't have a clear vision, to be honest, because at the moment we just enjoy what we're doing, and we don't have a strict business. As you can see, obviously we are friends, so we have a combination of friendship and business, you could say, and we try to do what we enjoy and what you enjoy. So we have a plan to add certain things to Academind, for example, the Discord community or Academind Pro. These are things we think about and then we try to implement these. But we always have this thing in mind of enjoyment for ourselves and for you. So we cannot share anything about 5-year plan or something like that. We are not that kind of business oriented, to be honest. So
yeah. And I just saw that the chat on YouTube was a bit crazy, so I turned on slow mode. Please don't spam the same question like 100 times. As I said, we're going through them, and that just makes it harder for everyone.
And sorry, this is insane. We're almost 500 people. This is just crazy. So thanks a lot. This is incredible.
That's really amazing. I mean, we started this, and we had no idea how many people are going to tune in, right? It's the first time.
So that's, and then we'll continue with Discord and then switch to YouTube. I'll try to monitor this a bit. So
exactly.
This is just crazy.
I mean, since we're live on YouTube, maybe let's go there and let's have a look at it. Well, so many questions.
Maybe should we have a look at the last ones and then I don't know.
I'm going to start at the top now. You cannot see the questions here. I have that on a second screen. But
did we subscribe to PewDiePie? I can see right here. Personally, I didn't, but I know PewDiePie. I don't know how about you.
Yeah, it's not 100% my taste, I guess. But I watched some videos. But I don't have a lot of YouTube subscriptions, to be honest. I mean, I use the home screen.
Yeah, it changed a lot, I guess, in the last years. So I used to have some subscriptions, but now it's just the home screen refreshing.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, one question which we also get a lot is how do we learn, or how does our day look like, right? That's something we got a lot. And I think for one, our days are very different. It depends on what we do. I mean, obviously we create courses, a lot of courses, and that also differs though. I mean, we have phases where we prepare a course, where we prepare course projects, prepare slides, try out stuff. I mean, what you don't see is that a lot of things just go into the waste bin because it's not the quality we want and so on. And yeah, otherwise we have days where we spend hours recording and cutting, and we try to mix those things because you can't record 10 hours a day and you can't cut 10 hours a day. So mixing all that stuff combined with learning new things, building side projects, working on the website and doing some other side projects.
And also lots of discussions, to be honest, especially when the year started, you have to talk about the things, what you want to do. It's not about just creating course after course. It's also sharing ideas, sharing concepts, sharing thoughts. So it's an interactive process, you could say. So we have a normal work day, you could say, but not a normal day like everybody has it. You know what I mean? So we try to structure our day, but it's not a typical 9 to 5 day, I guess. That's not what we have. No, it's not what we want, to be honest.
No. And I mean, since the question also was how we learn things and how long that takes us, we continuously learn new things. I mean, on the topics we have courses on, we try to stay updated there. We try to improve there. I learn a lot by building stuff, by just diving into projects and playing around with new technologies I find interesting. For example, last year, I explored Nest.js because I liked that and just built some dummy apps with that. And you didn't see so much about that or from that because we only released 2 YouTube videos. And the reason for that can be all kinds of reasons, by the way. Sometimes we drop a topic because it's not interesting to us. We don't get a lot of responses on YouTube. And sometimes we just see that the technology is maybe too immature or just doesn't fit in.
And I guess it's also important, as you said, we want to see that you like the content. You could create maybe a video just because we want it, but we try to find topics we enjoy and that you also enjoy. It's not about clicks, to be honest, but it's about the feedback you get.
Exactly.
You're looking for feedback if you create content. So we enjoy, of course, the videos the most, which you also like. By the way, something about Deno.js, you got any comment on this?
Yeah, Deno.js, we got a video coming probably tomorrow. It's pretty much finished, just needs some fine tuning, and we don't want to release it like in midnight today. So tomorrow.
And then a private one I saw, if we have girlfriends, I don't know if you want to share this. I'm married, as you can see. So yes, I have girlfriend, wife.
And I see the question here, my favorite variable name is Anna, or the value, and that's my girlfriend, exactly. I
guess generally about the private thing, for us it's important. We want to share some private things, but we are very careful about that, to be honest. As you can see, we like this community and we mean this by heart, but we try to find the right balance to not share all our private life because we are still private persons in the end, but to try to share some things which you might be interested in, so we try to get closer to this.
Exactly. Maybe back to Discord. I know we have a lot of questions there, but these questions are also there.
I never saw something like this before.
So any chance you'll be adventuring into decentralized application development? I think that's also like a general question. We get a lot of, do you plan to do that or this questions? We don't plan that much ahead. I mean, we have some topics we know we want to dive in. For example, this year, we want to do something on Docker. We want to do more on Python. Very likely also Python for web development with Django. Besides that, what else have we got? More on Git and GitHub.
Some database stuff, SQL maybe.
Some database stuff. And that's not all we do. That's just the things we know with high certainty that we're going to do. And then we get a lot of like special topics and something like decentralized application development or microservices, or build a project with, let's say, React and Node and some other technology. That's super interesting, and that's something we absolutely love to do. We just kind of have to be picky because we need to do something we know that a lot of you are going to like and that we like, and therefore we have a long list of ideas. And we can't do them all at the same time.
That's the important thing, we just don't have enough time, but the ideas are coming, so I guess that's not the problem here. I have another question. Rammstein or Scorpions? I know what your answer is.
Rammstein. And I've been to a concert in 2009 and it was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, for me it's
Scorpions.
No, it's not. It's neither of the two, but if I have to choose it, then it would be Rammstein, but it's not my type of music, so yeah.
I think, well, what is your music type?
I like hip hop and German rap, but I won't share the details here because it's, I don't know, maybe not the right format on YouTube. I like this street rap, you could say. So not the typical music you would share in the public, but yeah, I like these things. So
yeah. I mean, I also like hip hop, German hip hop, but also international hip hop, like Eminem and so on, like the mainstream hip hop, I guess.
Katy Perry, yeah. You know.
Katy Perry. Actually, Katy Perry is not that bad. You can definitely hear that.
And look at her.
Yeah.
How do we keep ourselves motivated? Maybe you want to answer this, just randomly picking some.
Really by mixing stuff. So by not doing the same thing for weeks and hours, but by mixing things. And I mean, we also have phases which are more difficult. If for example, like there is a new version of Vue.js, which is coming out soon, and I know I want to update the course and I want to bring out that update as fast as possible, but the quality also needs to be right. I need to prepare it, but I can only prepare it once the final version is very close. Otherwise, there will be breaking changes, which would be in the course. That's tricky. And yeah, that's something which motivation is maybe not the main problem, but that's not the most fun part, I would say. But yeah.
And I guess the main motivation sounds easy, but we are two people and it's easier because everybody has a bad day, right? And if you're working together, then keeping yourself motivated is a bit easier. I don't know.
Exactly.
That's what we experience. So even if you do this job for years now, I mean, you could say you're all alone and you create videos all day. This sounds like a nice thing, which it is. But if you just do this, I guess 10 hours, 15 hours a day for years, you would get crazy. At least I would. So we have this nice combination of, well, being able to share things with each other. So we can keep ourselves motivated at the moment. I guess this works quite okay.
Yeah. Can you give us your thoughts about Vue free in the industry? Like, is it worth it or become a React clone? Yeah, that's also a question regarding Vue free, but also in general. I saw it here in the YouTube chat as well. Should I learn React? Should I learn Angular, or the same for the backend with Node and Laravel or with Python? These should I learn X or Y questions are impossible to answer, and that's a good thing because these popular names, which everyone knows, like Node and Laravel or React and Angular and Vue, they are popular for a reason, because it's not just me or you who likes them, but they're popular for a lot of employers. They're popular in the industry. They have an active community. And even if you learn Vue, let's say, and you can only find a job as, let's say, a React developer, it will be much easier to learn something like React or Angular if you already have experience with another front-end framework. Even if React and Angular is different than Vue regarding the code you write, the core ideas that you work with components, for example, and how you share data, that's the same. And therefore, no matter what you learn there, it will not be the end of the world if that's not what you're going to work with. I mean, for example, we started this whole thing with Angular, with the Angular course. And we also released courses on other technologies because that's really interesting. And I like this, like learning different things and using different things. And therefore,
there's all this diversity in the portfolio, you could say, evolved, because if you like new things and different things, then you create more courses because you like to share the knowledge, and it's not a focused on one thing at all.
And a quick shout out, because I see it. Hi Max, I have all your courses at Udemy. And I saw that a lot of other people posted something similar, and a lot of thank yous and a lot of you're amazings. You are amazing, and I really mean it like that, because that's just awesome and mind-blowing. I mean, we're able to do this thing. We're able to have 500 people here in the audience. We're able to release these courses, and
that's really cool.
We reach so many people, and so many people love this. That's really awesome to have. That's not something we anticipated at all when we started this. And we're extremely grateful for that.
And it became really big, and we always say that, but you never start something like this with this in mind, because how could you? By the way, as also people ask sometimes what I'm doing here, I also got a Power BI course, and we got a question, what about Tableau, a data visualization software? We got a Tableau course on Udemy, so just check academind.com, the full courses part, there you can find the course, just a side note I just saw in the chat.
And we'll have more courses by Manuel in the future, but also we're doing this together since 3 years now. And of course, you see the videos and what the final result is, but the way to reach that result, of course, involves a lot more. Like post-production of videos, preparing of projects, and a lot of organization and all that stuff. And we share that behind the scenes too.
Yeah,
that's clear.
So I'm lost now. what's your favorite Steam games? Maybe something like this.
Yeah.
We try to mix it a bit, technical questions and a bit more private questions.
So my favorite all-time games are Gothic and Gothic 2, and that are games no one knows them, I guess, since we have an international audience.
Yeah.
They're very popular in Germany, but they're also very niche, and I love those games. And the games that are more mainstreamish, I would say, yeah, Minecraft. Everyone likes Minecraft, and I don't play that much anymore, unfortunately. I used to play a lot of World of Warcraft, a lot, way too much.
Years ago, I guess, yeah.
Yeah. What do you play?
I just like racing, so I like Assetto Corsa, for example, Project Cars, or MotoGP series. It's about bikes. So everything to do with racing, actually. And this, I bought Resident Evil 2, the remake, I guess, some months ago. You remember, in September, I guess. I played it for 30 minutes. I was just afraid I quit it. So
you shitted yourself.
Yeah, that was just, no, that's not my type of. I like Resident Evil, but it's just, I'm not the horror guy, because if I'm alone at home at night, and no, I can't do that.
I have the same with horror movies. I sometimes see the preview, the teaser, the trailer of a movie, and I find it super interesting. And I think like I would love to see that movie, but I know that I won't be able to sleep for the next week if even after the trailer, to be honest. So it's not a good idea. We got a question here. Do you guys like beer, since we're Germans? If so, what kind? I mean, you like beer?
Yeah, but this less than when I was younger. I guess in Munich especially, you have the beer garden. So if you don't drink beer, you can do this. It's totally fine, but it's less fun sometimes, at least. Oktoberfest, for example.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like beer, but I prefer beer compared to wine. Yeah, that's what I could say.
I prefer wine, but I prefer beer if the main mission is to get drunk. That's so something like the Oktoberfest, or if you have like a funny night with some friends, or like Junggesellenabschied, like a bachelor party. Their beer is the drink to go.
Yeah. What else do we have for the beer today?
Is there a way to create a content management system that you created with a Mernstick? Yes, you can. Generally, I would say you can build any kind of web application or website with any tech stack. I mean, you can't build like a backend with React because it's a front-end framework, but with any backend language, you can build any backend, and you can mix and match those technologies as you like, generally.
Then we have the little thing in the channel we had with the focus on a topic. Yeah. Let's skip this for the moment.
By the way, if we skip questions, super sorry, but as I said, this will most likely not be the last live stream. And we're also going to have a recording of the live stream after this.
I think this is an interesting one. Is any advice on how to stop getting drowned in tutorials? Yeah. Because I think this is nowadays, and we are content creators, so we don't want to blame ourselves, but we know that you got so many resources, so many courses, free videos, I don't know what else. So I guess the core idea is to think about what you want to learn first, and then follow this path a bit, at least. Don't take too many resources, follow a resource, and then try to apply that knowledge in own projects as soon as possible. And then you can dive deeper, but don't start, I don't know, hundreds of tutorials, because I think you will just get lost in them. That's at least my opinion.
And I mean, it's a thing that you don't just have in coding. You can always spend your entire life just with tutorials and with books and with resources that teach you something, but if you never apply it, you're not going to learn it. So at some point, you definitely also need to make the leap and leave the tutorials and start building stuff, start coding. And you can always go back to tutorials to then learn something new or to revisit a certain concept, but you can't really learn something by just going through books or courses. No matter how good that course is, you need to do it yourself. When are we planning to update your Vue and Webpack courses? We have no Webpack course.
YouTube series, but
the Vue course is going to be updated once Vue 3 is final. It's currently in beta. Once it's final, it will be updated, but of course not on the day it's going to be final, because I can only start recording it once it's final. So I need a couple of weeks for that.
How to get away from a bad mood when watching tutorials?
Don't watch it.
Yeah, don't watch them. Take a break. I mean, that's a typical thing. Yeah.
I mean, if you're in a bad mood in general for work, I would say you're not productive. No. If you're in a bad mood, it's always worth trying to do something. If you're still in a bad mood, maybe try something else. For example, sometimes I have a bad day, I can't record a video, I just don't get into it, but then I start working on some slides, or I start coding or programming something, maybe more than I originally wanted to do, and that often helps. But if there's nothing, if you're just in a bad mood, sometimes it's the best to step away.
And that's also something that comes with this tutorial thing and that internet thing, we are not showing you the bad days we might have, because we want to create tutorials with a positive attitude, that's the thing, you always see the good things here. We also have discussions and days where we are not motivated. But the general thing is that we try to motivate ourselves because we enjoy what we do. But if we have a bad day, we also take a break because that's just normal. So don't think that anybody, I guess, is always productive and happy. I don't think that's the case for a majority, at least in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
when are you going to teach us how to deploy apps professional? The thing is with deployment, I know deployment is not the main focus of most of my courses, because deployment is not just a single thing which you do and you're done. Deployment is a lot of things. It depends on the app, it depends on your audience, it depends on the size of your audience. If you need like a deployment that is simply put your app on a server and you're good, or if you need auto scaling to be able to handle spikes and so on. So that's why I don't feel like that's something I'm the best person to teach, because I know how to deploy stuff for our purposes, but I don't know how Amazon deploys their website. I don't know it because that's not my world. And I think there are better courses and better teachers for that. Like someone who is like AWS certified and spent his entire life in AWS probably knows more about AWS than us who just use the resources we need. Yeah. That's probably the truth here. Please make a course on Django. Yes, this is planned. Yeah. Do you watch football? No.
But if you would watch it, then you would be Bayern Munich fan, I guess, in Munich.
And international games I watch.
Yeah. And I have FIFA, I guess, FIFA 18 or something. I don't know.
But when it comes to sports, I don't watch a lot of sports. We do sports, at least if we're not in lockdown. Yeah. But watching sports, I like basketball, but in Germany, you could watch the NBA, but that's always at nighttime here. So, nah. Maybe back to the YouTube channel.
Yeah, also. But I also saw something, I lost it there, I'm sorry, if we like other programming channels apart from ours on YouTube. I mean, we know other channels. I mean, Brad Travers's channel, for example, you have to know this, it's a very big channel and I think it's a great content. But to be honest, we don't watch other channels a lot, because if this is your job, right, then we watch other channels maybe on YouTube for entertainment. So that's actually, we know that. How was it called? Dev Tips, the early one.
Yeah, Dev Tips was awesome.
That was an awesome one, but
unfortunately, quit.
I guess it's still there, but with other people now on board. But that's maybe a good
But channel. With Travis, I think his name was Travis. He was amazing. He had like these high quality entertainment coding videos, and I really liked his channel. That was amazing. So just going to the YouTube chat here real quick. We get a lot of like technology questions. Should I learn that or that? We said a lot about that. I think there rarely is a best choice.
Here maybe, how long does it take to create a course or a video? I picked this one because it's a video can be done in 1 hour, for example, but that's typically not the case, because a video involves preparation, recording, editing, and this process takes a while, and you have to find the idea. So if we would say you cannot convert hours from the final result into production hours, it's impossible, to be honest. Yeah. It's if you want to create videos on your own, for example, then I could just recommend just do it, because that's the easiest thing. And if it takes 10 hours or 20, doesn't matter in the end.
Yeah. So yeah. Here in Discord, my opinion on testing and so on. Testing is something which obviously is important and which can prevent a lot of problems and bugs if done right. I don't have a lot of content on testing, because I prefer teaching like the technology itself, which does not mean that testing it would not be important. It's just not something I like teaching so much. And I also wouldn't say that I'm the best expert on testing in the world. And I generally, and that's true for both of us, we only teach what we know. Yeah. We don't teach something just because it would be popular.
And that's also something you read with, how can you know, so you or myself or anybody know all this thing? We also don't know everything. No. I mean, nobody does. So again, I have to say this because it always seems that we know all the stuff. We also have to learn things. But if we teach something as Max says, then we know it. I guess that's very important.
And then we know a lot of these things, because a lot of these things we teach are related, like React, Angular, JavaScript, that's all related kind of. And we work with all those things every day. Of course, not every day with all 3 frameworks, but you get my point. We're constantly involved in that. Also because we, of course, provide support for our existing courses. We update them and so on. So we don't create a React course and then never look back at it. That's not how it's working out, and it's not the goal.
The next one is quite funny, I guess. Do you know that people sometimes call you the German guy? This one, sorry, I just skipped this one. We can go back then. It's related to you. It would be great if you could pronounce your full name correctly. That would be good.
Yeah, I always say Maximilian Schwarzmüller, which is basically the English version. The German version would be Maximilian Schwarzmüller. That would be the German version.
And in German, it's actually an easy name. It's just a long name, but an easy name.
So. And they're quite common. So my last name consists of 2 common names, Schwarz and Müller. Especially Müller is like the most common German name. Right? What's your views on how this Corona lockdown gonna affect the tech industry? As dumb as it sounds, it might be positive for the tech industry, at least for a lot of companies, because obviously the internet and digital services is the main thing that still works and grows. So I think we all would have loved if that would not be the case, because tech wasn't doing too bad before. But on the other hand, of course, now that I think about it, there's stuff like Airbnb and Uber, which is totally, we're not allowed to say that here, but which is not in good shape.
I guess it depends on how you define the tech industry, I guess. That's also a thing. I mean,
digital services is doing
that's the thing.
Most,
if you take this or automotive at the moment, maybe that tech thing would be the better one with the Corona in mind. But generally, I must say the Corona is a really bad thing, so we don't want to make too many outlooks here, because
we were super happy once we're all through that, and when we hope you and us and our friends and family, we all stay healthy. That's the most important thing. And
so many. That's insane.
Do we have plans for for this kind of course, like in general, also maybe like a freelancing and so like this meta kind of course? That is something I would love to do. Just not something currently. We have other priorities.
And what I always think is that you are quickly in this business life coaching thing maybe, and we know this is pretty popular, but this is not what we want to be. As we said before, we want to talk about things we know, and we are not these life advisors, I would say. We try to do our best to share the knowledge, but we are not these people. If you do this and that, then you have a better life. I think that's not something we want to do, but we are evaluating such things also in a way that we would enjoy to do it.
I got 2 interesting questions here in the YouTube chat. Apart from teaching, what else do you like to do? And how do you maintain your fitness while making content and working day and night, creating and learning? That's the first question. And the second question, so that we don't forget it, is why are you not applying for companies like Google or Amazon?
Okay.
Maybe to start with the second one, we're not applying there because we love what we do here.
I guess that when we started this, I mean, we had a job, right? So we talked about being kind of entrepreneurs, I don't know what to call this, 10 years ago. So we always had the dream of working for ourselves and not for anybody else, not because we don't want it. It's just how you think, we never liked that idea of being employed all the time, but having a normal job can be perfect, by the way. It's not that doing something on your own is the only right way. That's very important. I know many people who are not don't have their own company and are really happy. So I don't know. We just like it this way, or we prefer it this way.
And the other question is also related to this one here. Could you talk about your working environment and routines? How often do you take pauses and so on? And the other question was about the fitness and what we do besides teaching. So like the daily routine, as I said, our days are very different, but of course some things are constant pretty much. So for example, we both get up at around the same time.
You get up earlier.
A bit earlier, so I tend to wake up at around like 7 a.m. And then we have like in the morning, you just check emails, you have a look at the Discord and like this general stuff that you see what happened over the night. Then we go to the office, and here we basically then do different things. That can be preparing something, that can be recording or cutting. So that really depends then. Typically, as we said, it's a mixture. And then at the evening, we go home because I also like to eat with my girlfriend. And then often we also do work a bit after that. But that's roughly the plan.
Basically what it is.
Of course, there are more intense times, but
And not that I forget it, there was the question with the fitness thing, but I have another one which kind of connects here. If we can think about, I think that's how the question was meant. If we can think about being without internet for a weekend, at the moment, in the last years, this would be impossible because, just to give an idea, I'm not complaining, I just want to share some insights here. We are online every day. We are, especially for the support thing with the Q&A, we are online every day on weekends, on birthdays, we are online every day. And we like what we do, but it's just what being without internet is not possible. So we try our best to balance all these things with new courses, course updates, new concepts, support. So it's a lot of work in the end, and that's why being without the internet, even a day would be maybe possible, but it didn't happen, to be honest, in the last years. So no, that's
regarding the fitness and taking pauses and so on. Taking pauses is obviously important, but we just take them as we need them, I'd say. For example, after recording session, if you record it for, let's say, an hour, you definitely need a pause because it's really draining. Like you're sitting there, you're highly concentrated. You absolutely need a pause there. You drink a coffee, maybe go for a walk, something like this. And fitness, we both normally go to the fitness studio or to the gym. But currently that's not possible, so we try to keep ourselves fit at home.
And we actually did this at home, so separated before, and then we enrolled, went to the gym, and then Corona started. So, well, if you look at us, you see we're not the bodybuilders. So, I mean, but we do our. We actually like this. We were there for 2 weeks or 3 weeks only, and it's cool to be there and to get it into another environment out of the office. But at the moment, I don't do any sports. I must admit at the moment. So.
How do you get through the first steps of learning something new? How do you motivate yourselves and so on? Like we talked about the motivation before. Like the first steps to learning something new, in my opinion, are the most important, the most amazing part of learning something new, because that's where you have like the fastest progress. I absolutely love that, and you rarely have that. But like a couple of years ago, when Flutter was a very new thing, I loved starting with that because it's buggy like hell. It wasn't like in the alpha demos yet. That's German. It was in the alpha back then. But you start working with that and you see the first results and you build like a simple Hello World app. And that's super motivating to me because you learn something brand new and you have a lot of success kicks in your mind. So that's awesome. It can be harder to pull through thereafter once the tricky parts come and you say, okay, now I want to build that. Okay, this doesn't work, it's buggy. And then you have to dig into that and find solutions to the problems. But if the end goal is that you master it or that you become really good at it, I like that way of getting there. I find it much harder to go back to something which I already know and dive into niche topics there, which I might not even need for myself, but which I know people want in a course, and I, of course, therefore have to master those things as well.
So we check Discord again, right?
By the way, if we're skipping a question, that's not personal. I'm just we're just scanning through them, and if something is brand new, we answer it.
And the chat kicks in all the time, so that's why I'm looking down here all the time to monitor this a bit. So
got a lot of thank yous still, so really thank you. That's amazing.
Again, this energy thing, I think we have this already a bit with all that motivational stuff, I guess.
And if you feel that a tutorial is boring, well, it might be boring. We're sorry then. And otherwise, sometimes you just like need to take a pause or come back another day. And it always, at least in my opinion, do stuff on your own, code along or build a side project that is more motivating than just sitting there. Programming is never boring. That's all something we can skip, I guess.
Here, this looks good. We have this learning new thing.
Yeah, how much time? Like we said, it depends.
Maybe the second one, if we still have to work for external companies or side projects,
a little bit, but
very limited. Because this is a full-time job in the end.
Yeah.
Because as I just talked about, being online every day, so this involves lots of things to do, lots of good things to do, but still, the core thing we do is Academind.
I would say side projects in the sense of. For ourselves, for practicing or for trying things out, that's the stuff you don't always see because, as I said earlier, a lot of that is just thrown away. And for example, I'm not doing freelancing anymore. We're not taking new projects there, but I have some existing partners, like example, but also my cousin, for example, I do build stuff for them if they need it. So that's something we still do, but the focus is obviously on the courses and managing that and providing support and so on.
What was the most bizarre question you were asked by a student?
Well, bizarre. I mean, you unfortunately, you remember two things. You remember very positive questions and very negative ones, or not questions, insults.
I guess insults are the main problem, to be honest. That's not nice, but generally we have to say that the students we have, 99% are. It's incredible how friendly you are. I must say this. because the internet is a bad place sometimes, and we got, like I said, the majority is just cool, and if they have problems in the course, they ask, for example, and say, hey, I did this and that, please help me. And this is easy, and I can't remember a bizarre question, to be honest. It's just very positive and some strange ones, but I don't want to focus on the strange ones because,
Yeah, my name is one of the simplest ones. That's what we said correctly. Yeah. So like these comparisons and so on, we got a couple of articles there for Angular versus React and React Native versus Ionic, and we said a lot about that, I think. Challenging to solve the questions and often failed new tests. As we said, building stuff, coding along, and really that's one thing probably. If you face a problem and you just can't continue with that, or you just feel like you're stuck, digging into that, using Google, using Stack Overflow, finding alternative ways to solve something. It's like when you talk a language and there's a word you just can't remember. Find another way of describing it. That is what ultimately makes you a better developer, because you need to be able to solve problems, and that's not always easy, and some problems are unsolvable for you this day, and that happens for everyone. But then at least find an alternative. And sometimes it's also as easy as going to bed and the next morning you have the solution. It's really not giving up when you face problems is probably the most important skill in life in general. And therefore, of course, also in programming.
Because there is no shortcut, right? That's the thing that now we are in the life advice part, but that's the thing, you can't cut the path. You know, you have to dig through these hard parts, you could say, or hard stages, because if you go for these, then things get easier. But sometimes, you have problems and you have to see how you can solve these.
And I mean, sometimes you can ask someone like us in the courses, but who are you going to ask if you're if you're on your own project alone, or if you are on a manager level in a company? Who are you going to ask then? Like the most, that's a dumb question, a dumb statement, but like the most successful people are probably the ones who are able to solve things on their own. Not everything, of course. It's fine to use help and so on, but you also need to be willing to dig in and do stuff on your own.
And we are both self-taught in the end, you know. So and we are both self-taught in the end, you know. I mean, Max started when he was 13, I guess, around about that, with programming, but with reading books back then. So you know what I mean? We didn't have that one guru who told us how this all works, and that's how this mindset came to us, I guess. So
do you plan to record a video regarding thinking as a programmer? We got a couple of videos like on that actually already, like some tips on how to grow as a developer and so on. And in general, yes, this is something we'll keep on doing.
And here, Pro Academind and Udemy thing, important to state this here. The courses which you can find on Udemy are the same ones you can find on Academind Pro, but new courses are released on Academind Pro only. That's maybe also something we can clarify here again. But the courses on Udemy, as for the Flutter course recently, we got a whole new module, are updated, are maintained, and get support. So you're free to choose what you prefer right here.
Exactly.
Something else.
What else have we got here? Bit of a off-topic discussion going on. How old is Academind now? Academind is 3 years old. Pretty much exactly 3 years. It's like 3 years and 5 days.
Yeah.
Though I also started a good year before that. So I'm actually doing this for 4.5 years now.
Yeah, because we basically, Academind was built completely from scratch, you could say. So these are two separate things internally, you could say. So we have basically these two dates in mind, but when it comes to Academind, it's May 2017.
What are your reasons you moved Academind from Nuxt to Gatsby? That's a very technical question, but an easy one to answer, as simply to try out something new. Nuxt was awesome and there was no reason to switch, but I wanted to dive into Gatsby.
I'm also a bit checking here, not too much.
Are these the latest messages?
Yeah, just a little backlog. It's not about learning and process, I can see here. So lots of people asking about the general, how do we approach things. How about doing a Stammtisch? So kind of a Stammtisch is kind of a weekly meeting, you could say, with friends. Here in Munich at some point with real people and to share the experience. We thought about that for 2 years now, I guess, with all that meetup things. we won't rule it out for the future. You see it with the live stream, we try to find this better connection, but at the moment we don't have such plans, to be honest. I can't tell you reasons, just doesn't feel right at this stage.
I think one thing also is that we always had like this fear of then being the only two dudes at this meeting. I mean, I think it's sometimes hard to believe how many people we reach all over the world.
And I must say that we talked a lot before the stream, and I mean, we have 550 people now online for more than half an hour, and you know, our videos are edited, of course, because we talk, we have some, how do we call it, if you're Sprache, you know, when stolperst.
Yeah, because you have some...
you know, you say a sentence, but it goes wrong, you know, you say the wrong words. Then you can edit this, but in the live stream, we cannot edit the thing right here. So, and we are Germans in the end, not English-speaking people, so, but I have to say, this is quite cool. So
I like it a lot, so it's really awesome.
So real life meeting, maybe one day. And then a software related one, what we use for editing and creating the videos, it's the Creative Cloud from Adobe. But I must admit that we are using OBS, so Open Broadcast Software, I guess, for this stream now. And lots of features we have in the Creative Cloud, which is very big, to be honest, are part of OBS. So OBS can do these things live, whilst we have to do it in the post-production in the Creative Cloud. So we'll reevaluate our setup maybe in the next weeks.
So funny. I mean, you work with tools for years and you never question them because it works and you have your workflow. And then you need to do something in a new way because obviously this is live. We can't edit it thereafter. So we tried what we can do there regarding noise and audio corrections. And since we got no major complaints and we also checked it in advance, it seems to be all right. That's just hilarious. But
also something we learned, if you want to start something like this, maybe don't focus too much on the equipment. You need a mic, you need good sound maybe, but maybe one day we show you what we had, what changes we had throughout the years from the equipment side, and keep it simple. That's really good advice. Focus onto the content first because, as Max said, we are maybe also going back to the easier software because in the end, you just want to record your content.
Yeah. And if you would see our recording setup, you would not believe that we got all these courses, but they are recorded in the setup here. Maybe we share a photo.
By the way, lots of Deno requests here, so we'll see.
Deno, again, there will be a video on that tomorrow. A first video. I got a question here. It's a very long text now. I glimpsed over it. Essentially, it's about hearing about my learning journey as a developer. And I know that this has also been asked in other places. So to keep it short, I started coding at around 12 or 13. I don't know exactly. And I started with a book on JavaScript because back then the internet was like this 56K modem, which did beep, beep, beep. This was a bit hard, so that wasn't an option, and there were no resources there either. So I started with this book, and I started with JavaScript. JavaScript back then was absolute garbage, so you could not use it for anything useful, but that's how I started. And then I still loved it. I also started with HTML and CSS, of course, which back then also was a bit different, but that's how I then started with web development, started building basic websites, and that continued and continued and continued. And then I also had a look at C# during the time when I was at university. I worked with that, but always kept on working in web development technologies. And then I started business administration, which has nothing to do with that, but as a hobby, I always continued coding. Always kept myself updated there, continued working with web dev technologies, and then made the switch from consulting in the business administration area to coding and to tutorials and freelancing and that stuff. That's the story in a short way.
Condensed, yeah.
But started with JavaScript and a book. That's.
Do you guys ever use a stand-up desk? Well, we had one. I don't have one anymore. I don't use it.
I use it.
You use it?
Yeah, I use it.
No, I don't know. You have this, but not. You have the manual one, right? Where you have to. You know,
we have like I don't know what it's called. We have to,
but not the electric.
Yeah. Can I have some ideas of new projects to get an internship? Generally, if you want some projects to practice, I'm a big fan of simplified clones of popular apps. Build your own Facebook, your own Amazon. Obviously, not with all the features you have there. Obviously, in a bit of a broken and buggy way. But if you focus on the essentials, like for Amazon, being able to list products, view products, order products, delete products, and so on, then you have a quite nice project where you can practice a lot of things.
How did you learn to speak English so well? Maybe to both of us or anybody of us, we don't know. We just learned English at university and then at work, to be honest, because we worked at companies where you had to do English presentations and stuff like that. So you kind of get used to English.
And telling from some very rare reviews, I have to say, we don't speak German, English very well.
What car and bike brand you prefer? I guess bike brand, not your thing right here. I like BMW and Yamaha, so I couldn't from the brand side.
A bike, not in the sense of bicycle, but in the sense of... I guess
bike here, I'm not sure if it's bicycle, I have no idea. If it's motorbike, then it's Yamaha.
Okay, yeah, motorbike is not my thing. Bicycle, I don't have a favorite brand. I have a, I think, KTM bike, but...
Austrian.
It's
Austrian.
Maybe I bought it because it was light and yeah, I liked it. And car brand, I had Ford for a long time, Ford Fiesta, and I also like Mercedes.
Yeah, I think BMW is better.
So classic German cars.
German war, you know, Mercedes, BMW.
One of the better German wars, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're allowed to say this here. It's sarcasm.
It's sarcasm, very important. You know, we wanna.
You have to be self-ironic.
That's one of the things on a live stream. You know, we are normal people and we like to do some jokes, and we'll see if you like such humor. But in the videos, we don't do that because you know we don't want to offend anybody. That's the core thing you have.
Yeah, and obviously courses should be professional. Yeah. I mean, we try to be funny here and there in the courses too, but yeah, you want to stay focused.
Another one. I'm sorry for, but it's just. When are you releasing your algorithm course? Well, soon. Yeah,
very soon. I can say it's pretty much finished. Only a little bit of fine-tuning and finishing work left to do, so it'll be out soon.
Then, do you plan to release a machine learning course? Well, to be honest, we talked or thought about this a lot of times, and it's not the near future plan, but we won't rule it out. So it's actually on the list of interesting topics because, well, it is an interesting topic and we think it has a bright future and it's an important skill. Actually, you should at least have a look at. So yeah, we'll see in the plans.
Related to that, or partially related, if we want to create a Python complete guide course, we have a Python course which isn't labeled complete guide, but which actually teaches you Python A to C. It's the Python blockchain guide, which just uses a blockchain as a project. So it's a Python course. And therefore, right now, we have no Python complete guide course plans. But as mentioned earlier, we'll do more on Python like Django or machine learning in the future. So that is planned.
How do you guys know each other? I guess we said that already, but just to give you some more context, we met at the second or third day at university, but really strange because you just, you know, you come here to uni first day, second day, and you're alone, obviously. And then we were just standing next to each other, and I guess Max said something like hello or something like that. And from that day on, we were pretty fast friends, to be honest. And then we didn't see each other for some months, actually, or years even during university because we went to different cities. But we never lost the contact, or we kept the contact. So yeah, this is how it all worked. So it was just, well, nothing planned, just coincidence.
We're friends now for 12 years.
12 years, I guess.
Do we plan a Flutter web course? I mean, I'm not answering all those. Do you want to do course X questions? But for Flutter web, since it's a popular request, I will add some web content, Flutter web content to the existing Flutter course once it's more production ready, which it currently isn't. That's why we don't have it right now. Scrolling down.
That's just some Q&A, I would say. Oh, we are not running out of questions here. That's
no, I still got a lot of open questions.
Maybe a bit more further down here. You know, as Max said, these all, how can I create this and that? We can maybe do a dedicated stream one day on that, but today we want to just keep this more like a little bit of a talk show, a nice chat, because it's our first live stream ever. So we want to make this a bit more private, actually.
A Linux course, not planned at the moment because we're not really using Linux. So we're probably not qualified to do a course on that, I would say. Node or Angular, which one is easier to learn? They do different things, of course, and probably Node, because it's basically just JavaScript on the server, and it becomes more complex once you want to do more complex things. Whereas Angular looks quite different at the beginning, but then it gets easier and makes more sense as you learn it, I would say.
Here I have, what is your advice towards a newbie in web development? We got actually a video and an article on that on the website. This is Web Development Learning Paths, I guess. Maybe we can check
also
this.
share it here. So now let's see if that breaks everything.
Let's see if this works.
So
let's see.
It's good that our website works.
Yeah.
It would have been...
And then it's choose topic, web development.
Web development, and there we got this web dev learning path. And there we got our article where we basically describe how you could get started and which kind of progress might make sense. And
of course, we show some of our courses there. That's what it is, but because we have the courses. But I guess if you read this article, watch the video, and then get started, I guess that's at least some guideline you can follow.
Yeah, and you also got some non-course resources there in case you prefer that.
Because you sometimes get the complaints that we are just advertising our courses, which, by the way, is not the case because we provide lots of free materials, as you know.
Yeah.
Therefore,
we have... the questions like this are hard to answer.
Do you have any kids? Not at the moment for both of us.
Yeah. This is a difficult question to answer. It's very technical, very project specific. So not much I can answer there. Especially when we talk about pricing and how much is this going to cost. I can only give the wrong answer there, because if I tell you that is definitely cheaper and it's more expensive, then I'm the guy to blame. So that's, by the way, a thing in courses where we also use paid services and so on. I always mention it that you should, of course, check out the pricing page, because I typically only use services that are free to get started and only to the extent that they stay free. But if you have a lot of side projects that, for example, already use Firebase, it will quickly cost money. So you always have to check that on your own as well.
What's the favorite fruit? I like these.
What's your favorite fruit? Banana.
I actually like strawberries.
Yeah, strawberries. I like those too.
But only juiced, I don't like them in the raw form,
I like them in the raw form too, with ice cream.
And take milk and then the mixer, and then it's very good.
And I like bananas.
That's easy it is.
and strawberries. That's
correct. Golang, not at the moment.
No.
Okay, you answer. But it was from January, so interesting. I know we talked about it. I know about Mindspace and stuff. That was the first part Max mentioned earlier.
Yeah, Mindspace was basically a YouTube channel I started when I started 4.5 years ago. But then we created Academind together. How do we reach audiences at first? Very, very very trivial way, I would say. I just opened my channel and put a video on it. And we didn't overcomplicate things. I think that's, by the way, what we always like to do and what we still do today. You can read a lot of stuff. You can take a lot of coachings. And it's, of course, always important to know your market and to know how our technology works. Like us here for the stream, we prepared this everything 30 minutes before we started. No, but seriously, you need to know how things work. But don't overthink it. And I just put a video on YouTube. I did my best to make it not absolutely bad, and then people liked it, though the first video only had a few clicks, not even 100 clicks. And the Angular videos back then were the ones that went through the roof, if we consider the number of clicks I had back then. Because Angular, when I started, was a brand new topic, Angular 2, I mean. And that might be the best advice. If you start something, pick something which isn't covered by everyone and which still might be interesting. And Angular 2 was such a thing. Flutter was such a thing 2 years ago. Maybe now Deno is such a thing. Not everything will be a super hyped topic, but it just needs to be big enough, right? And you can't expect to reach the audience within 2 weeks. It can take time. For us, it didn't take that long, to be honest, but it was okay. But it's now 3 to 4 years. And one thing I must say, when I came to this channel, when Academind was founded,
I had lots of doubts, to be honest, because I wasn't sure if I can do this, if I can record videos, because Max had more experience, obviously. And the thing you always told me was, just do it, don't worry too much about things that might go wrong or people who might say you can't do this, because this just demotivates you. Just do the things, as Max said, be prepared, and then do the videos, We didn't think about it too much from that way, and also I tried my best to not do so, and then things just started going, and that's about the thought before starting. Don't think about too much before starting. Have a concept, but not focus too much onto the details, because you can't control these, obviously. So
second question, we answered that, but just to sum it up: married and kids, married, no kids, not married, no kids, and also no plans to marry.
Kind of plans regarding kids. So one not.
For me, neither. Divide time between learning and creating content. As I said, no strict rule. We try to mix things. There are days with more recording, more content creation, and then there are days or weeks where we just learn stuff. And that's maybe interesting. You can't plan that well, especially the learning part. I mean, sometimes I find myself on a Sunday afternoon, and we do our best to keep weekends free, and most weekends for us are free. And I'm interested in watching a video or reading something about, let's say, Docker or anything like that. And then I do that, even though it's not my typical work time. And on other days, I wanted to do something, I wanted to learn something, but I'm just not in the mood, I can't concentrate, and then I rather do something else. But that's roughly it. How many hours a day?
I just want to comment on this because, you could now say the craziest things. I guess the truth is, especially when you start something new, you put a lot of work into this. And I would say we work less than when we started. I must say that, because it was I won't share the hours, but it was crazy when we started. Because, you have to learn so many things. We try to have a more structured day and also more private life in the meanwhile, which we do, to be honest, especially with the weekends. So, but we don't have a typical day. I can't share any hours, to be honest, because sometimes we have less hours and then we have more, and then we average it. And in the end, we could say now we work 15 hours per day, but that's typically not the case, and then we could say we don't work at all. So I guess we try to do our best to keep the content coming, to do our job, and to enjoy what we're doing. That's what we can tell you.
But generally, we work Monday to Friday, and every day, at least from, let's say, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. That's very typical, I would say.
And with some breaks in between. And
then often a bit longer. On Friday, maybe a bit shorter. As you say, average is definitely hard to quantify, but we're not working 16 hours, but also not 6. It's somewhere in between.
The question from Zero, we answered this already, but this let's build this project thing. This is actually, we talked about how we met, but this let's build this, it was kind of like this, to be honest. It wasn't a project, but Max just asked me, he came to my flat back then and said, hey, you want to start something new? So with this whole course production thing. And then, that's how it started. It was just as easy as it is, He said, hey, I think this is cool. We could maybe do this together. Do we want to do this? And then I said yes, and this is how it all started. So not very complicated, just a simple question in the end. And then, I mean, I had to quit my job also, right? So it was not something it was a serious thing. In the end, it was not like, okay, let's try this. So the thing was, we do this seriously, we try to make something good out of that. But in the end, it was, let's build this.
And for me, I mean, I started this 1 year ahead, or started freelancing there, and also started creating tutorials. And I did that because I was in consulting, was doing a consulting job, and I just felt like this is not what I want to do. I didn't feel like being in a different city or country every week, which you in business consulting typically are. And I always had the dream of doing that freelancing thing and of creating courses and sharing knowledge, especially because, as I mentioned earlier, and that's also the question here, I started with 13 when you had barely any resources. You had to deal with books, and of course it's way better now, but I felt like I gained all that knowledge and I want to share it. So that's how we started that.
And that's also something I can answer, because later comes the learning part for data science part, because I have a different background. I'm more I was also in the consultancy, but I worked in tell it differently. I studied finance, so I had this finance background. Then I had this Excel valuation business modeling background in a consultancy. And so you come from Excel to VBA to Python, how this thing evolved, and then you come to programming. So for me, it was different. And I started all that maybe a lot later than Max. I think I would say 2010 to 12, around about this. So it's some years already, but I'm not programming as long as Max does it. And I also learned different things, and I came to it differently, you could say.
Yeah.
But yeah, it came from studies, work, and then I'll dive deeper.
Yeah.
That's actually how I came to this.
Can you show us the framework you use to structure the courses that you will teach? We probably don't have like a fixed framework, but of course like a certain approach which we follow. And it basically starts with, for me or for both of us, it starts with the outline of the course. Like, you know, you want to, like, let's say you want to create a React course. Then we know that we want to include certain things which basically everyone will need if he or she works with React. That's routing, Redux, stuff like that. And of course, all the basics. And then we'd like create an outline, a structure that teaches this step by step in a logical order, obviously. And then we look for a project or multiple projects that fit into that outline, which are not too difficult, but also not too simple, which aren't super ugly, but also don't just focus on the visuals without teaching anything. And that's basically how we do that. And all that stuff happens, of course, way before we start recording. And during that process, there's a lot of stuff that also ends up in the trash because we don't need it. And the structure also changes a million times, even during recording, that you see like, it would be good if I could just cover this now because it fits in really well now and not just in a separate module. Yeah.
And two things I have to add here. If you say we put a lot of stuff to the trash now, because we also get this, if we don't prepare things, we got this feedback sometimes. We prepare everything, but we don't have a script. Because we believe that reading from a script by creating a course, I don't know, I wouldn't enjoy this course. So we have no script at all. We just have the projects. We have our structure in mind. And that's how we record the videos. So therefore, we do prepare ourselves, but some things go wrong. And why I left before, I tend to write down the curriculum in Slack, and Max does the same. And Max just writes the rough bullet points, and I tend to add lots of details. So even Slack sometimes collapses because it's too long. So it's an essay in the end. And what's also important maybe from the framework is it's PowerPoint, to be honest, because I think we have the slides don't look bad, I guess. We have a nice style, and it's all done with PowerPoint. And we also get this question sometimes, how do you animate this? Well, with PowerPoint. So
it's all PowerPoint.
The PowerPoint slides are also kind of our curriculum in the end, which we use to focus and to know what we want to teach next. So, but there is no strict step 1, 2, 3 thing how to create a course. We don't have this.
That's true. How did we evolve as a person? While teaching and making course content, what are your most important learnings from this? You always grow as a person, obviously. I mean, you, for example, have to deal with feedback, with bad feedback, which is always worse than good feedback is good. That is how life is. You like remember that one bad review, even though you got like 50 good ones, and we get a lot of good ones, which is really awesome. But of course, that is something you can't avoid, that this hits you, and that is where you grow, that you learn to live with that you can't please everyone, and that you have to stick to your style. I mean, if someone writes person X, Y teaches this in a better way, that's great. Go to that person and watch his or her content. There are a lot of amazing content creators out there, and if someone thinks that he or she is the only one who can teach something, that's not the case, and you will not be able to connect with everyone.
And you shouldn't envy anyone, you know. There's always somebody who can do things better than you, who's bigger, who has more subscribers. I don't know. But if you just focus on to other people who have more than you will never be happy, because the other person is, well, another person and not you. So I guess this is an important thing, but we didn't learn this, we knew this. But what I learned is really this negative feedback thing, because to be honest, if you're new to something, negative feedback, even if it's just one single comment, this hurts you because it kind of attacks you directly. And this is something you learn to live with, to be honest, because as Max said, we get lots of positive feedback. And by the way, negativity isn't something bad. If it's constructive, it's a good thing. But these really hateful
insulting
things.
I mean, it's still a course. I mean, I don't get how some people can really freak out because of anything there.
And especially for people who just start this thing on YouTube, maybe not even in coding, and anything they do, if you read the comments, I mean, it's crazy, you know, because we also watch YouTube as private persons, of course, and it's sad to see that some people just get destroyed, you could say, by just bragging around, it's not good what you're doing. I think if you don't like it, well,
just go somewhere else. I mean, I never wrote any comment below any YouTube video, I think, and at least certainly not a bad one, because if I don't like something, I'm not going to waste more time on it, right? So yeah.
And if you, for example, say the audio is bad, this is okay. That's something that's constructive. Or you say, hey, I think you speak too fast. These are things that's okay. That's a valid criticism.
I mean, we want such feedback,
of course. Yeah. That's what I want to say. We are happy to also get feedback, which helps us. But yeah, these hateful things which you sometimes have, that's maybe something I had to learn a bit.
Yeah.
I have another one here, a more business related. If we have plans to recruit new members, volunteers, or pick students to join Academind. To be honest, we thought about that a lot, but it's difficult to find people. Yeah, how should I say this? Creating this content seems to be easy, but it's not, at least if you are in a structured environment like we are.
Yeah.
So I think we are nice people, but we have certain expectations. And I guess it's difficult to find somebody who fits into all of these. I must admit that it's not something like that we are awesome. It's just our style, how we work, how we approach things is a special one. Maybe there's, you know what I mean. We have a special connection, so we work in a special way. And at the moment, we don't have plans to add any volunteers. We might, maybe to add this, we might think about people on the website when it comes to articles, maybe, that if you like to write things.
Yeah.
This is something we have in mind, so you can publish your article on your website, and with that we can maybe find a well-working arrangement for both. But this thing really involving to Academind, not planned at the moment.
Not planned at the moment. And for example, we also get questions if someone, for example, can create a course and we publish that. We get a lot of questions. We get approached a lot by other people who want us to publish or advertise their courses. And up to this point, there are 2 persons who we ever did this with on Udemy, because we were convinced by their quality and they were established instructors before they approached us. But we also had a look at some resources, some tutorials created by other people, and we of course have a certain quality that has to be met, and that's why that's also hard to involve people there. Which does not mean we're never going to do that, but we don't want to turn into a publisher of others. We like creating content on our own.
I guess that's an important thing, because Academind, the thing is, Academind is Max, obviously, because many of you know Max, totally aware of that. But in the end, Academind is Max and myself. So these 2 people are the ones you might know. And if we just become a publisher, then Academind will not be Academind anymore. It will just be a publisher of hundreds of courses from hundreds of people. And this is our baby a bit, I would say. So we love this Academind thing, and we want to make sure you also know what you get from Academind. So, no. Another question, why you always wear a black shirt? Maybe you wear dark. Always, I guess.
I do have I mean, it might look black. This is blue. I do have a lot of black and blue stuff. I do also have some other colors, but most of it probably is black and blue. I mean, historically,
that's where it comes
we
from.
also trained ourselves to wear like dark colors and uniform colors, because when we use the green screen to edit ourselves out, if you have something that has some green in it, you get an undesired effect.
And if you have we used to have the white slides, right, in a PowerPoint, and if you have a white shirt and you are sitting in front of a white slide deck, then you are kind of the slide, you know? So that's why maybe darker things.
Yeah.
Talking about style, where did we buy that orange wall gadget? So this one back here, I guess. How was it called? I forgot the name.
That is called...
About that, in the meanwhile, it can change the colors. It's these are different parts.
Nanoleaf, the Nanoleaf light panels.
Nanoleaf. And these are triangles, you can see maybe, and you can just stick these together in any kind of design you want. And
you can change the color and have multiple colors, and really amazing.
And we just found these via Google back then, because in the old office, we had another office a year ago, a bigger one. Now we have 1 room because we are, 2 people. So we bought these to make it a bit more beautiful, and that's why. But we can recommend these, nothing paid here, but it's really cool.
Yeah,
it makes it a bit more.
Absolutely. I got a question here. Have you ever thought about making a large size React app? General such project specific courses? Yes, so I would love to do more on that. Also on YouTube, we have some project-based series there. It's always a time thing between all the course updates and new course topics, which we haven't covered at all, like Docker or algorithms and so on. It's hard to squeeze that in, but yes, absolutely, it's on the list, and I would love to do more on that.
Now I forgot a question. Here. A Firefox user, a man of culture. Well, I must tell you that Max might be a man of culture, but Firefox is just used for the stream because as I said, we don't want to share anything we don't want to share. We use Chrome normally, and we are a bit paranoid, so we are using Firefox here. But I found another interesting one.
Yeah. I reached the part where we finally announced the live stream for today.
Okay, very good. You guys should start a weekly podcast. Well, thanks a lot. I think this is a great feedback. And by the way, I read lots of awesome feedback here for you and us. And really, I don't want to get boring, but it's just cool to get this positive vibe here. We never expected it to be like that also in the live stream. So really cool. Yeah, podcast. To be honest, we just tried this live stream thing now, and we might repeat this at the moment.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
And by the way, also with other content, we don't think we're going to do coding live streams because we don't think it's very entertaining, to be honest. And, as you said, things also go wrong sometimes. And then you look for us checking how to solve problems. I don't think that's entertaining. So if we do live streams, it should be about a talk maybe or something. We need a topic maybe we can talk about. And we'll see. So podcast maybe also someday.
Yeah.
Chrome for porn, Firefox for stream. Got it. Yeah, that's exactly the paranoid thing.
Yeah, this is a bit too technical. I read the question. It's not something I can really answer here because it's not like a simple answer to give, and it's probably also not interesting to everyone. This might be a question which is good in the topic channels we have to discuss it with the community in general. How long have you been doing web development? As I said, I started at the age of 13, so it's over 18 years now.
Would you collaborate for a video or series with another YouTuber? Actually, this comes together with the topic we talked before about with the new members on Academind. I would say no. Of course, it depends. There might be situations, but it would be a collaboration which would be friend-based. You know what I mean? It would not be a commercial thing. I think for commercial reasons, we wouldn't do it because that's not what we are. So
in general, YouTube has never been our main commercial channel. I mean, yes, we have ads in the videos because why not? To be honest, since the videos are there anyways, but we never optimized for anything there. I remember that one time, like 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I published a video which was exactly 10 minutes and a second. And someone wrote in the comments, you stretched it to 10 minutes so that you can fit in 5 ads, or what is it? I don't know. Or more than 1 ad. I don't even know. I didn't even know back then that this was a thing.
We had a look at this after this comment. We even had a look at this monetization thing on YouTube. And then we found out that we have an impact onto these ads. But just to give you some insights, you can turn monetization on or off. We turn it on, yes, but we don't tailor anything. We just publish the video. We are not that, okay, and then here comes the next break, and then we need a commercial. Nothing like that. So
we really just upload the video and let the YouTube algorithm do its thing. And we could time the ads, and we don't do that at all. So
because we are too lazy in a way of we don't want to waste time with that. Because what would that be?
Yeah, because that's not what YouTube is there for. We really do that to try out new things, to share stuff for free, to, of course, also test new topics and see if people like it. Of course, for some advertisement of our own stuff, that's of course also the case when we tease a new course and so on, when we announce a new course. But that's it. It's not our main.
No. As the question comes again, we use the Creative Cloud for video editing, so Premiere Pro and After Effects mainly, and Audition.
How do you manage to apply work-life balance as a developer? I think work-life balance is challenging for a lot of professions, and as a developer maybe a bit more, or for all tech stuff, because you can always work from home, or often you can work from home. On your laptop. It's easy to start working on a Sunday or in the evening. And of course, for us, obviously, we have our company, so that work-life thing is for us a bit harder.
And it's not existing anymore. We talked about it earlier, but if you have an online business in the end and you just need to open your laptop, I mean, the limits are very low, or you can't. So I guess if you do something like this, you have to live with the thing that this kind of is your private and working environment.
But there is one important thing I want to add, and that is work life does not necessarily mean that you have strict times where you don't work. It also comes down to how you work there, and some things. If you have something which really drains you, like if you see like, let's say reading reviews is something I don't enjoy, which is not the case, just an example, then I would not do that, let's say on a weekend, because I don't want to ruin the weekend for me. And of course, there also are certain like routines or certain traditions. Maybe every Friday evening, for example, I tend to go out with my girlfriend. We just to a restaurant and so on. Not at the moment because of Corona, but generally. And that's of course something which is like holy, and you have to have things like that. And you should always, for me at least, it's always clear that family and friends are always more important than work.
And I guess this work-life thing is, even if you have your own business here in the end, you know, the problem in the consultancy was that you couldn't plan a thing. As Max said, Friday evening, if your boss comes, and I had good bosses, no problem here, but we had projects where you had to work during the weekend, or you wanted to leave on Friday at, I don't know, 5 p.m. and then it was, no, you have to work until 8 p.m. And these were things which kind of had a worse impact onto my private life than Academind, because here we do what we want to do and nobody tells us what we have to do. And that's for me the biggest difference with this work-life thing. Why, I'm talking about business and all this stuff. Do we have an academic background, Bachelor of Science, Master of Science? Yes, both. We both have a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration and Economics at Passau. We can share this here, I guess. And I have a finance master, and I did it in Lisbon. And you also have a business administration master.
In Munich.
In Munich, So
we have a master and a bachelor degree, but we have no computer science degrees actually. So that's all self-taught. I got a question here. When are Udemy assignments getting reviewed? Because you need that for the certificate of completion. That's actually not correct. You should get that certificate without the assignments being marked as complete, because the idea behind the assignments is that you can use them for self-practice. That's why we have a solution video and a solution code. We don't actively review those assignments because they're also not meant for you to share your code or anything like that. These are simply just exercises for you to do on your own. And they shouldn't be, you get the certificate without them being marked as completed.
What am I doing here? I don't know, man. I don't know.
But stick around if you like it.
Also, lots of things come regarding Laravel. I know that Laravel was a course back then in the early days. I can tell you this now, that Max is not doing such a course at the moment, because you remember this thing, what we want to do. And at the moment, I guess I can share this, you don't want to create a Laravel course. It just doesn't fit into the plans we have now. And I guess you enjoy other things more at the moment. I think this doesn't mean it doesn't come one day again, but at the moment it's just not.
The truth is also that I haven't worked with Laravel for like 1.5 years now, and therefore I feel like it wouldn't be right to now create a course on it. That does not mean that, as Manu said, it will never come back, but at the moment it's just not something I'm actively working with, and therefore no course. Laravel, by the way, is the only course we unpublished on Udemy because it was outdated, and updating it simply wasn't planned.
Then we talked about Corona in the beginning, but it's more than an hour ago. So what's the status of COVID-19 here in our place? It's getting better. What we are doing here is allowed, for example, so we should keep the distance, but if we work together, you cannot avoid it. You can go out. There is no kind of restriction to go out. Restaurants are closed still. You have takeaway. You can meet your family. You can meet friends. I guess it's 2 households.
One friend or one pair. One household.
So it was. I guess it wasn't. It was stricter in other places, like or it still is in France, for example, or Italy. But for us, it was also different. Let's say like this. So, and we also didn't meet that often as we normally do, to be honest. So like this didn't happen 2 weeks ago. But now, as the long-term prospects are unsure, at least we don't know what's going to happen. So we have to do it like this. So, that's about.
Rammstein or Scorpions, we had that. Which technology is good for freelancing? I think that's also a question we get a bit. What should you learn to become a freelancer? Learn something which is not too niche-y. So if you have like a language or a technology which is not getting used by a lot of people, it will be hard to find jobs. Sure, if you do find a job, on the other hand, it might be a well-paid one, but could simply be difficult. But for example, if you learn, let's say PHP, where you have a lot of jobs, it might be easier to find a job, but it's probably also not getting paid as well. So that's like the trade-off you have. And knowing that, you can decide for yourself what you like. You always have to learn something what you like. If you learn something just because it's in demand, that's not going to work. You have to work with technologies you like, and then decide if it should be backend or front end, or if it should be full stack. Especially for freelancing, full stack can be great because a lot of freelancing work will be for someone to create his or her online shop or anything like that, and then it helps if you know the full stack. Something like, for example, Flutter or React Native could be great and could be interesting for building mobile apps, because a lot of people might not care if you build them with Java and Android or with Swift, or if you use something like Flutter or React Native. So therefore, that could, for example, be really great because it allows you to build such apps quickly and in a beautiful way. And the person who gave you the job might not care too much about the technologies. But ultimately, do what you like, and maybe don't choose the option that everyone uses, but also not the one that no one uses.
Coming back to this what should I do thing in a few seconds, another question in the meanwhile. Would you buy the new MacBook Pro? What I can tell you is I have the MacBook Pro since 2016, early 17, something like this.
Yeah.
Then you bought the new one. You shared some things on Instagram and Twitter back then, or I think it was Twitter back then, with the bad keyboard. But then this was kind of, well, totally done. And then you bought not the latest one, but the early one from last year. And I guess the latest versions we would buy these again, but the one in between, this was a bad one with the bad keyboard.
And I think that I have I mean, if I'm on apple.com.
Or do you have the latest one still?
I mean, let me zoom it a bit here. I think I have the MacBook Pro. Yeah, I have this one.
This one here, yeah.
I have this one because my old one broke completely. I had the one from 2017, which had a shitty keyboard, which the keyboard was gone like after 3 months, that certain keys didn't respond anymore. And then I had to use the offline keyboard, and I put it on top of the broken keyboard, and it was a total mess. And I kept on using that, and then like in late 2019, it decided to go broke entirely. I mean, we are heavy users. We use them every day. We record there. We have a lot of, recording something is a lot of work. But yours is still working.
Mine is still working, it's the old one, and yeah, it's really good. But it was so ironic because MacBook Pros are expensive, and then you bought, I guess the keyboard was 100 euros, I don't remember, something like this. And then you put a 100 euro keyboard onto your expensive MacBook. That was just insane.
Yeah, really insane. I mean, we like Apple product. If they work really well, but I mean, the old MacBooks,
And could you go back to Academind Com, please? Because we get lots of questions like Flutter, React Native, Angular, Vue, React. Make sure to check the choose topic page here. For example, here, React Native versus Flutter. You can find the Angular versus React versus Vue comparisons. We don't have comparisons on anything. Here, for example, we had this one. If you go back maybe to Mern, Meme versus Mern, this one, for example. So as you can see, we read your feedback and we try to create such videos. So if you have questions like that, of course, you can ask these here. But check the resources, the free resources we have here. But also in these videos, you will never find an answer. React is the best because it's a subjective thing in the end. So these comparisons just share Mac's thoughts in the end of it. And in the end, the answer will always be, it depends. But depending on that, you can form depending on what you need, you can form your opinion on the things you see in the video. That's just maybe something, as this comes also quite often.
Then when can we expect an update in React Native course for chat app? It's not planned at the moment. The Flutter chat app was like an idea, something I wanted to try out. And in general, that's like the thing. This comment is probably not meant in a negative way. But it's sometimes a bit hard if you publish something for free in a course that's already very long and was offered for a very low price, and you can then get the question, when is this coming out there? When is this update coming? So I know it's just a suggestion probably, and therefore don't take this personal, but we're working every day on new content, on updating content, on answering questions. So there is simply a lot of stuff going on, and therefore not everything is coming out for everything every day. Certain things are more important than others, like for example the Vue free update once that is final. Maybe we'll add such a module to that course. But for example, when we talk about React Native, I released a whole new section on the new React navigation library one day after it was released. So that's how dedicated we are. We are monitoring this all, but
and then we got negative feedback that it's not up to date. You know, this is what I was talking about, these few negative things. And by the way, and maybe also in the chat if you want to, what are your expectations if you buy a course? I mean, actually, I would say you first want to have the course and the content should work. But from a support perspective, I just want to hear your opinions. What do you expect? Do you buy the course and you say, okay, I want to have the course, that's it? Or do you expect immediate support, all these things? We cannot provide immediate support, by the way. But for us, I just want to learn more about that. What a typical student, which you probably are. I mean, what is your expectation if you buy a course?
And of course, also consider like the price of a course.
The length in the content you get. And I mean, we create long courses actually and packed with content, not just for the length. So yeah, if you want to share some things on that, feel free to do so. It would be very helpful.
Is Dano going to replace Node? I got a video for you tomorrow. Should I stick as a sole freelancer or should I set up my own web dev agency? Yeah, I mean, if you are able to set up your own web dev agency, in the long term, that's probably the better thing, because if you got other people working with or for you, you can do more. And if it's all about, if it's about the money in the end, you probably earn more that way than alone, because alone you are always the bottleneck. On the other hand, with an agency, you have more stuff to do. You have more organizational topics. You have to hire people. You simply have more to deal with. So that's a bit like what we also have. If we want to hire more people and do more things, as long as we are just the two of us, and we actually have a couple of other people, but as long as it's a small circle, it's easy to manage and we can focus on what we like doing. If we like have 40 employees, all of a sudden we're managers and we just have to manage everything, and we won't be able to do courses and so on anymore. And that's probably what you should ask yourself as well. Do you want to be a manager or the freelancer?
Just want to say that Joost and MLR and Adam, you might read these names. These people are helping us. So thanks a lot to these guys also, of course. These are also part of this thing here. I found a thing, here. How do you determine what to create new tutorial videos? So how do we find new topics in the end? And this is also something that also we talked about a bit. There are so many new things that you can learn these days and that you might want to teach. So it's not that difficult, to be honest, because we are not searching for that one big topic, to be honest. I mean, this sounds so easy, but we just like what you do right here. So you find, oh, this is interesting. I know this, or maybe I need to learn this, but I can't learn it. I just learned it. Why don't I create a video on it? And there is no marketing research ongoing here for 20 hours to see what might be a good topic. It's this kind of comes with the years, I would say, that you see, okay, I want to do this, I want to do that. And so there is no specific market selection or screening process ongoing here.
Absolutely. I mean, fitting to that, if we consider doing a Java course, for example, Java as a topic, I work with Java actually quite a bit even, but I'm not working with it right now, so it's a bit like Laravel. At the moment, a course is not planned because we only create courses on what we really like and what we also know very well and what we're working with actively. And for Java, that's not the case right now. That's awesome. Someone who made his career after watching our videos.
That's really cool.
That's really cool. And we get messages like this a lot, and therefore, again, really, that's amazing. And congrats to you. And thanks for simply being part.
That's really cool to read. Yeah, that's good.
You wanted to?
Yeah. If we edit the videos ourselves, or if we hire somebody, we do it ourselves.
Yeah, we do it ourselves. Yeah. And that's interesting, by the way. There is like this yearly event, Udemy Live, which is where all the instructors and also students can come together, and it's like a conference for instructors and students. And you talk to a lot of instructors there of different areas with different student base. So you have instructors who are brand new, you got instructors who have been around longer. And the interesting thing is that a lot of instructors actually don't like the editing part, and they basically outsource all of that, which is, I guess, understandable.
No offense here.
No offense at all. That's perfectly fine. After all, what we do is create the content and record the videos. But for us, I like the editing part because it's a good place to double check if something is wrong or if something should be improved. Sometimes you can sprinkle in some effects to improve the explanations.
Sometimes do.
And sometimes you really can take this as a break, to be honest. If you record it and you did like other stuff, and then cutting is perfect to just you sit there, you cut, you don't have to be super concentrated. So I like it a lot.
And I guess for us, the process of sharing this with somebody else, explaining how this is done, I think this would take longer. Maybe it would be more efficient, but then we're talking about business. It's not all about efficiency here. It's also about what we want to do. And as you said, I think the mix of creating content, organizational stuff, editing, I mean, that's how it works actually. So no, we don't outsource that. I expect only videos. This was the question before. I can feel that. A finished product and published live. That's actually what we always do. So the courses are done. Actually, we don't do this thing like next month you will get this and that. Also valid, by the way, but we tend to create the finished product and then.
We never did something like early access or anything like that. We always like, course is there, it's finished, it's out there. It might grow in the future if we add bonus content or if we update it, but generally we don't release like the first sections and be done with it.
This was an interesting one. So let's maybe a little bit focus on this Q&A thing because support is a very important topic for us, and we want to find the right balance here. And when I buy a course, I expect to be able to complete it without having to download a specific framework. If a new framework breaks the course, don't sell the course. So it means dependencies probably, or what's exactly.
I think.
So but that's one of the things that we actually update, right? If you have to update a certain dependency or something, then we do provide that information.
I mean, this probably means you have to download a specific framework. You mean a specific version probably, because for Angular, you obviously have to download a framework because it is about a framework.
Maybe, that's the thing, right? But
I mean, we have the clear goal of keeping all our courses up to date with the latest version of the topic they teach. Now, up to date does not necessarily mean that always every new feature is included the second it comes out. That is impossible. That's impossible for everyone. But if a course does not work at all anymore, we try fixing it. We try to update it. And that also does not mean that we re-record it from scratch, of course, because sometimes that's just not required. If you have like, let's say, an import path changed, you now need to import something differently than what was shown in the video. It would be just stupid to re-record the entire course, because that's a lot of time you spend re-recording something which works because of one tiny change. And that's time you can't spend on updating other courses or, of course, creating new courses. Because in the end, of course, updates are something we do for the community. But for us, new courses are of course, better. And I'm not talking so much about what sells better, but simply what we like doing more.
The learning new thing. And sorry for interrupting here. And you also must say that updating a course or re-recording the videos doesn't always improve it. Because when we record a course, we do our best to create the course in the best possible way. So if you then re-record it every 3 months, for example, it wouldn't improve the quality, I guess. So that's sometimes a bit hard to understand, I guess. But even if a course is 2 years old, maybe the course can be fully up to date and can be fine, because you might have to change something, but then we add an article, we add a video,
the video.
So
in general, our goal is to keep every course working with the latest version. So I absolutely agree that if a course tells you, hey, this works only with version 4 and you have to download version 4, even though version 8 is the latest one, that would not be the experience I want, unless it's clear in the title or in the description, right? You can't blame someone if it says in the title Angular 4, then this course will be about Angular 4.
Maybe 2 more things about the Q&A. We won't focus to this for long, no worries. The length should be about 20 hours. I can understand this, And then I never ask questions in the Q&A, always try to figure out myself and eventually do it. There is no point in continuously asking questions. Hand-holding defeats the learning process, in my opinion. I can relate to that, to be honest. And one important thing, we do provide support, we are not lazy, but if you ask always when you're stuck, and not because of the course itself, but because you might have done something wrong in the code, then this can happen. It also happens to us, by the way. But then it makes more sense to take a minute, take a break to check what might have gone wrong, or to check the attachments, because we provide the attachments to make sure you can continue. Because if you post a question and we can't answer in the next 10 hours, for example, then you are stuck for 10 hours, and that's not a good experience. So, I can understand this problem.
Yeah, I can too.
Sorry, but Max, how much weight did you lose last year?
Sorry, question. I don't know. Last year, over the last years, I lost some weight. Yeah, I lost since 2016, beginning of 2016, I lost 10 kilograms. So that would be, what is this in pounds? Is it
I have no idea. What's the pound conversion?
I think it's 2.2. I think it's 22 pounds, or is this totally unrealistic?
Is 22 pounds? Would that be, or is it
Yeah,
like
so
you lost a car?
10 kilograms. I got a question here.
Are you?
So first of all, it's a thank you. So thank you, of course. And then a non-coding question. We answered this before, but just for anyone.
There is only one answer, obviously.
Yeah, and that's Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah. Are you brothers or friends? Friends?
Yeah.
No brothers.
Question about Deno. Deno, tomorrow. Got a video for that.
Ramstein. What about the Ramstein?
Yeah, we get that.
Future Flutter. We have a video on that on Academind.com.
Yeah, we have a video. So actually,
that's great in a live stream. You can share these things immediately. And that's what
Flutter in 2019 and beyond. It's a year old, but what I say in there is still actually relevant. I might redo it, but still,
that's actually
that might be a good starting point. The future backend development for you guys. Before everything was C#, ASP, Java, but slowly. The future questions like this are always tough. It's never going to be a case that there's just one language that everyone uses. Certainly JavaScript, Node.js, maybe Deno, we'll see, is there to stay around. But if you look at the market shares, PHP still has like, I think, what is it, 80%, also because of WordPress. So the future, that's hard to quantify, but sure, JavaScript-based backends like Node.js have the great advantage that you can use one language, which you'll need to learn anyways, and you can use it everywhere, which obviously might be much better than having to learn different languages, but that alone might not be enough to make it the future or the best choice for everyone.
Good prediction, actually. It's hard to talk about the future here. Who's the other guy? I'm Max's personal assistant here. No, we talked about that. I guess it's so we are both running Academind in total. You could say so.
Friends and business partners.
What it sounds so strange. This business part. I hate these business. That's all business. I hate these things, but it's what it is. I guess nowadays.
That's true. Through the Node, should I stop and wait for a new one? A new Node course, you mean?
Not planned.
Not planned. A Deno course, not planned either at the moment.
So I would recommend to continue because the course is working perfectly, actually.
Yeah.
Do you run any course at? Oh, I love the course of Flutter. That's great to read.
Yeah, thank you.
We should focus on these positive ones more. We read all these. We're really happy. So
a course in Munich, a live course, you mean? No, we got no live courses. We talked about this Stammtisch, this meetup idea earlier. Also not planned at the moment, but also not something we necessarily rule out.
Here we have 2 tutorials on the MERN stack. We released a course on the MERN stack last November, so check this out. So we have something here.
Regarding the safe distance, which we are not keeping, that is correct, but we talked about this earlier as well. It's impossible for us to keep that distance, especially in a live stream. You would just see one of us there.
And if you would see our office, which is a single room, we can maybe share a photo later or the next days, then, we cannot do this.
We are keeping the distance and adhering to all the rules we have here in our non-business life, and in the business life it's just the two of us. So that is what it is.
Here I want an Academind shirt. To be honest, at the moment we don't even have one anymore.
It's really a shame.
Maybe also something about these planning things again. We thought about doing some it's merchandise in the end, right? That's what it is. Not too expensive, but also nice quality. And then we saw something. We could do these t-shirts for not a lot of money, sell them cheap, but we had a t-shirt which was crap, to be honest. The quality was so bad and we would never sell anything which we wouldn't wear ourselves. So at the moment we can't do this with an affordable pricing, I guess, and also from a design perspective. Just taking the t-shirt and putting the logo onto it is, we want to do a bit more here. We actually have some designs that we could do. You would remember, it's 2 years old in the meanwhile, but at the moment, sorry, we don't have such plans. That's not working.
I'm working as an Angular developer. What's next? Should I go for React Native or Flutter? React Native might be a bit easier since it's JavaScript. On the other hand, Flutter also is very similar. It also uses components, which are there called widgets and so on. Either way should be good. And we, of course, have, whoops, that's some course advertisement. We, of course, have our versus article here. Which front-end and back-end framework do you think is most in demand in Germany? Depends on what you mean with in demand in the freelance market or amongst companies. I think Germany isn't too different from the rest of the world. And what I like to do in such cases is you can always go to Google Trends, because that's a good proxy at least. And that's the German.
Taylor Swift and Kim Kardashian, for example. Yeah, these are interesting topics.
Can I switch this to, that's just the country, right? So we want to find out Germany anyway. So that's for Germany here, I guess.
So these are the topics.
So we could then simply search for Angular.
Then switch it to worldwide.
Germany, right? Germany, and you can do this for every framework. You can also plot them against each other, I guess. So like with Vue and so on. And that will then at least give you an idea of what's popular here.
Yeah. Here you are spamming, Locust saw you are moderator in the community, so please don't spam you.
Yeah, but he's really spamming. I saw him in the, he was the guy in the YouTube chat at the beginning. So
but please don't do this,
stop
guys.
that. Otherwise we have to ban you or at least kick you, and we don't want to do that.
So as you can see, our mods are doing a great job. So we try to keep this community really with a low moderation level, but we have to just keep it a nice place. I mean, we are almost 90,000 members there, or we are 90,000 actually already. So it's lots of people, we know that, but we don't want to be this a place with lots of rules. So please, make sure to.
Here for a course on Docker and so on. Yep, that's planned. GraphQL versus REST, or when would I choose what? We have an article about that as well. And generally, both are of course awesome. GraphQL gives you that more flexibility when it comes to querying it from the front end. REST, on the other hand, of course, is also the thing which everyone uses, if you want to call it like this, which means you simply find more resources on that. And especially if you're creating an API that you want to share with the public, for example, people might be used to working with REST APIs and not with GraphQL. But that's just a short summary. As I said, I also have an article about that, which might be interesting.
Got some more data analysis courses. He came late. Yes, in the plans related to Python, but not in the next months. That's what you can say here. And I saw a question regarding Academind Pro, if we can just use the membership for selected courses and then prolong it, that the annual subscription lasts for longer. It's not possible. Now we have two options. You have three options. You can buy the single course, talking about Academind Pro now. And the single course, you have the monthly subscription, which is a monthly subscription, or the annual subscription, which is valid for 1 year. And with these subscriptions, you get access to all of these courses. We do not provide packages for just 5 courses only. All possible for the future. Never say never, but at the moment, these are the ways we have to access our courses.
And we want to keep it simple. So whilst packages where you maybe just pay once to get all the courses in there might be possible, subscription packages like a front-end subscription or a back-end subscription, that's very unlikely, because at some point this just becomes like you shouldn't have to study to find out what your best plan is. We want to keep it simple. We're offering it all at a very low price. So if we think we have a lot of content for the money, and if you are only interested in one course, you can get the course standalone as well. And that's fine as well.
And if I see this again with what I'm doing here, I'm also creating videos, a lot less than Max. But for example, I have videos on Python, on HTML. We did a CSS course together. I got a Power BI course. I got a Tableau course. So I'm also doing courses and videos, but the majority is done by Max. That's quite obvious. And I do also background stuff, strategy, organizational stuff, community management, all these things. So it's behind the scenes, but also in front of the screen. So I guess that's enough explanation now from my side at the moment.
This Academind seems to focus more on technologies that are used in startups. That might be the case, yes, because these big company or these enterprise technologies, Java, .NET, and also some older technologies and frameworks is indeed not what we primarily work with. And as we said earlier, we teach what we know and what we work with day to day. So that might be the case, yes. Will you update your Flutter course to the new version 1.17? Nothing changed with that version that would break the course, so it is up to date with that. And as I said, for example, features like Flutter for web are planned once that is more stable, which is still not the case. React Native course in debugging section, you mean a more detailed debugging section? Right now, no updates are planned. We'll certainly keep it updated and certainly also provide bigger updates in the future, but currently no plans there.
Also because the whole course was re-recorded last year.
Yeah, the whole course is brand new still.
It's brand new course. So. Future of backend, we had that. Thank you.
When will you look into microservices? It's on the idea list. I can't promise if it'll be this year, but it is something I would love to do more on. Thank you for your work. Regards from Argentina. Yeah, thank you. And greetings back to Argentina.
It's insane to do. This is the internet thing, right? You reach the whole world. This is crazy to get. You're just sitting here and you talk to people from all around the world. That's really cool.
Opinions about Golang. Got not much to share on that, to be honest, because I haven't worked too much with it.
Ionic React Native, could you please share again because it's a good example. We talked about that 10 minutes ago. So if you have
here, by the way, that the images reload every time normally does not happen. Maybe a Firefox, maybe a private tab thing. So here is our React Native versus Flutter and so on article.
Then we have GitHub Git and version control. Yes, I'm currently.
So that's the guy who kept on spamming. By the way, sorry, don't want to put anyone in the spot, but if you spam and you did spam, stop it if you are told that you're spamming. And especially with this question, which was answered already and which you also find on the website, that's not what we want. So please don't do that. Thank you.
And GitHub, Git, and version control, yes, will come. Will be. We have another course on Pro, and then this course will come. I'm currently working on the Power BI course update, which will be released next week. That's the plan. And then afterwards, GitHub and Git. So no release date, but in the plans. Also, maybe together parts we'll see, but mainly done by myself.
Would you consider student guest videos? We talked about this before. We won't rule it out entirely, but we have a certain quality standard, and generally we might look into this also into articles written by other people, maybe even in the nearer future. At the moment we're not doing it, but we won't rule it out.
Just mute him for 5 minutes. Okay. Yeah, that's annoying. I must say that. That's sorry, but it's live, so we can do this. That's that 1% thing, you know. We have such a great live stream here, so it's sad that you have sometimes these things, but it is what it is.
Will I provide an update because you learned more than it's the course? It's great that you learned more than it's in the course, because no course can cover it all. This course gives you a very solid foundation, but no course can teach you everything about the technology. And that has nothing to do with the course being outdated or with not everything being in there, but you have so many use cases and scenarios out there. If you build an online shop, you have totally different problems you're going to face, not all of them being related directly to Angular, but maybe with the combination of Angular with a payment system or Angular with some analytics system. So that's not something a course can do. So that's also not something I could update in a course. A course could have 200 hours and it would still not teach you everything about every possible use case. Courses give you a foundation, give you more than a foundation, even give you some advanced knowledge in the case of our courses, but you always learn. You keep on learning your entire life. Even after working with the technology for years, you will still learn new things. That's a good thing, I guess, because then life never gets boring.
Can you share a forum for discussion? Can you go to academind.com again, please, and share the community link? I just want to take this opportunity, because here you can find the community part on academind.com, and then you can find the Discord community. So that's about this.
Any new course in Udemy? No, not planned right now. Updates, of course, are.
Balance.
In the future on learning, course on learning techniques. Maybe, yeah. I think there's a lot of potential for more content on that, also on YouTube. So yeah.
Got the only negative thing now. Okay, we had one, but another one. Somebody tells us that he got all our courses for free from the torrent and he feels guilty. You know, what should we do about such things? You know, this is just, we put so much heart into this, and then you get comments like that. You know, why? You know what I don't get? If you do something like this, why do you tell us?
Don't be so stupid and post it here. To be
what's the thing behind it? You know, we are honest people here. We do our best to make everybody happy with the courses, and then you share such things. I don't know, man. That's just not.
We hope you get paid in your job, because you're obviously not willing to pay ours.
And that's what I said with the last negativity now, because as you can see, we're actually
the favorite football club. Yeah, if it has to be a club, then it's Bayern Munich, but we're both not that much into football. Balance work and family, we had that. Married and kids. Married, kid, coming.
Sorry, I'm laughing.
Not married.
Not because of that, but yeah. What plant is the one you have on the back? I cannot. What should I say? He bought this thing, and it's not.
It's plastic.
It's plastic. And we had the comment on YouTube, I think a year ago, where somebody told us, please get a real plant, and he enjoys it. I don't know.
You don't have to water it.
But it looks
it
like
doesn't die.
It's not.
It looks amazing.
A real plant also improves the air, here in the office.
Yeah, we got a window for that.
Yeah,
so.
that's just
What do you think about Tailwind CSS? Great, I really like it. How important for a front-end developer to focus on the visual aspects of the web app? Depends. Even front-end development is like not that one single thing. For front-end development, you of course could be the guy who just writes the logic, or you also have to do the site design and everything. But often, typically, you will get designs by someone who knows what he's doing, and you have to implement it. Here we got the link shared, which Perfect. We also shared. That's great.
Fake here, Gregory Jacobs. Fake plans live forever. Yeah, I think he's on your side here. I'm not sure about that.
What is the city you live in? We live in Munich. I lived in Berlin too a couple of years ago, but now we're in Munich, and originally we come from Bavaria. Do you want technologies? Yeah, I think we had that. Do you guys get sick of each other? Actually not. I mean, no. We also never had any real problems with each other.
But because we are honest, and also with things which we don't like. If somebody is not happy about something we're doing, or if you're not liking a certain approach, or if we have private things, we are friends. So I must say that we became even closer friends with this company. And if you're that close, then you know a lot of things about the other person. Therefore, I can tell Max and he can tell myself if he has a bad day or if he doesn't want to talk today. So that's how we do this. So no,
that's correct. Git, yeah, we got something coming up on Git. Thank you so much for this awesome feedback here. Really happy that you liked it. Docker course, yes, planned.
Pum here.
Yeah, we got so many questions, right?
Yeah,
awesome. I have to say this. We didn't know what to expect, and you're blowing our expectations.
By the way, we are still, and it's now almost 2 hours. We are still at the moment. We are 590 people at the moment, at least here in this dashboard thing I have. That's huge. That's really huge.
It's really amazing. Really, really amazing.
Then a follower from Nepal. Okay, greetings to you. Hello. Awesome all around the world. That's crazy.
Will Deno get success as much as Node? I got a video on that tomorrow.
Do you have any plan about data structure and algorithms courses? Stay tuned for the next days. Near future. Let's call it near future.
Is it okay to use Bootstrap to make a project? Sure, why not?
How to fix bad image error, GTA 5. Yeah, awesome game, GTA 5, but I think GTA 6 is coming out this year, next year. I don't know, I hope soon.
Is it? Is it even announced?
Is it? I think it is, isn't it? I think I read something about GTA 6. Completely misinformation here. Yeah, it's German.
That's German, great.
We see it's exclusive for PS5 and yeah, okay. Yeah.
Let me change this.
Do you know about GTA 6? I don't know. No, people are not interested into GTA 6, obviously.
No, I think since we have leaks, it's not been announced, or is it?
Yeah, I'm sure it will.
GTA 6 has been in development since 2014. I don't know.
How much?
Tell us something about your life, family, kids plans. Yeah, as we said, married, kids, and so on. That should all be clear. Our life is super exciting. During the week we work, and on the weekends we
live the craziest life ever, especially during Corona.
We were doing tons of stuff. I think maybe hobbies. What are your hobbies?
I don't have lots of hobbies, to be honest. I like cars. We talked about cars already, so I like to drive around. That's one of my hobbies. I did some motorbike racing some years ago, so on racetracks, but I don't do this anymore because of family reasons. So yeah, typical stuff, you meet friends, you go out sometimes, but not in the discotheque, just in a beer garden or something. We live, at least I guess the same thing, we live pretty normal lives, I guess. Yeah. And at the moment, I think the cool thing is that with Corona being kind of a bit more under control, that you can meet friends again. That's a very important aspect because if you work with two people here all day, you also need other contacts, right? Yeah. Because we talked about that annoying thing with each other. For this, we also need to have another social contact or more social contact. So yeah, but for me, it's like meeting friends, driving around with the car, and good food maybe, but good food is also for you. So yeah. I guess that's just...
Yeah, that's true. I also like eating, going to restaurants, or cooking. I cook a lot with my girlfriend. We cook every day. Meeting friends, traveling a bit, going into the mountains, hiking, such stuff. That's nice. Yeah, that's probably it.
And not gaming. Because we thought about if we would do a game stream one day or something, and we maybe do this, we'll see.
We would be horrible.
We would be horrible, and we are not sure how this would work, and we lose the focus a bit with game, because after 30 minutes, it's just a bit boring sometimes.
Yeah.
So
the strange thing is, we both used to play a lot of video games, and I said it earlier in the stream, I played World of Warcraft a lot, really a lot, and way too much. But over the last years, since we started working, not just here, but also before, that kind of is less important.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get into it. For example, a couple of weeks ago, I played a lot of Elder Scrolls Online. So you see, my taste is role-playing games and so on. But Diablo 3 and so Diablo 2. But besides that, then I suddenly lose interest. And yeah.
I started Uncharted 4 2 weeks ago. You know, it's 4 years old. If you have this on the PS4, play it again. This is incredible. Still a great game. That's what I must say.
I think what we both don't play that much is like Fortnite and so on. We're just not.
Would be good for streaming, you know.
Yeah, but the thing with multiplayer games is that we already have I don't know. I already feel challenged
at
work, and when I have some free time, I don't want to be in that challenging environment, and everyone's better than me, and I lose all the time. So.
And I used to play Modern Warfare 2 on the PS3, I guess, right? So online, and I remember how competitive this was. This was insane how good people are in that. So, when do you plan to stream live again? We don't. We thought it's a first try, but it's cool. So we'll share this in the social media and Discord if we do it. But probably we have to think about a topic on what we want to do. Maybe another Q&A, or we'll see other things. So yeah, but will happen. But
probably not another 500,000 subscribers. We'll probably be able to do it earlier. How do you learn so much in so little time? We also talked about this earlier. In the end, a lot of the things we work with are related. JavaScript, for example, JavaScript frameworks. And that makes learning easier. And then by simply working with that, by building stuff, building projects, using it on our webpage, using it on side projects. So yeah, but also because all those things are related.
Then we have two questions, which are not one question and one statement. Hey, Academind, with your courses, I multiplied 6 times my salary in 3 years.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. That's insane, man. Really cool. Really cool. And then we have another one. How are you coping with publishing a good tutorial in English and not having it in German? Are you recreating the tutorials in both languages? A clear no. There is one German course, the Angular course back, I don't know, some years ago, to be honest. And it doesn't work because although we are Germans and we're not English native speakers, as you can hear, this whole tech thing is easier to teach in English, to be honest.
Yeah.
If you try this in German, this just sounds really weird. And I don't know.
We never got into that.
No, that's really strange.
We actually really don't do German courses because we find it harder than in English, as stupid as that sounds.
Even if our German, although we live in Bavaria, is better than our English. So.
What's your, fitting here to that game discussion, what's your favorite World of Warcraft expansion?
No idea about that, okay.
Yeah, I think Wrath of the Lich King was my favorite one as well. Especially the late game content, I like that. So I liked all expansions up to Wrath of the Lich King. I didn't like the others thereafter so much, and I quit with Cataclysm. Are you married? No, he is. I'm not.
Here, link Discord community. Go to academind.com community, academind.com, then community tab, and then here you can find the link to the Discord. This one right here. We showed this a bit earlier.
Why is PHP so bad paid compared with other backend technologies? Probably that's related to what I said earlier, because it's getting used by a lot of companies, which means there are a lot of developers out there, a lot of freelancers as well. And a lot of people are using it who just want to get simple projects done. And the more complex something is, and the more advanced, I mean, PHP also has its advanced parts, but the more not mainstream something is, the higher the rates are you probably can charge. So there are too many people in the PHP world for high rates. There certainly are projects with higher rates, but especially the entire build my website, build my blog jobs which you can get are super bad paid, because there are so many people who are able to do that. That's probably the thing.
Common thing, right? The more exclusive a ability or a knowledge you have, the better it's paid, probably.
How long does it take you to create a course tutorial video? Depends on the topic, but
I had that already, I guess. Right?
1 hour of video easily takes like 4 or 5 hours of recording, cutting, and everything. But it can be much more than that, or for some topics it can be less.
Can be 1 hour in 2 hours because, well, yeah, it's easy. Power BI is important.
We agree.
Definitely is.
Stammtisch, we had that question.
Outdated, yeah.
Where to start freelancing? Freelancing sites like freelancer.com and Upwork and so on can be great because you can easily find jobs there. They also do a lot of administration stuff for you, depending on where you live. I have to say that, but in some countries they might be able to help you with taxes and invoices and stuff like that can be automated. So you can prove your worth to employers with certifications and so on. So that can be great, but the downside is there are a lot of people who are not paying much, and therefore finding the right jobs can be hard. But you can slowly build up a track record there. You can build up connections, and ultimately you can make it out of there or have your stable base of people giving you jobs that pay better and that work together with you. What do you think about Svelte? There's not only a video.
Course,
there's a course on it, and I like it. It's certainly not as big as Angular or React, but I know, for example, that it has influenced parts of the Vue-free development, and therefore it definitely is also there to stay, but certainly also way smaller than the other frameworks. If you should accept it, if you get an offer, why not accept it? You can learn a lot on the job. You can learn a lot whilst you use something. You can continue with the course. You just should be transparent. I mean, you shouldn't take or apply for a job and saying that you know it all. But if you are transparent with what you know and what you're able to do and what your goals are, and you get a job offer, why not take it?
And don't underestimate yourself, because if you get the job offer, then you obviously know something. So we had that 20 billion times, I guess, with Angular React. The video.
No, I prefer none of these because they all are very different and have their own purposes, and I like working with them. We need more Power BI videos.
In the making first, the course update next week, and then we'll see what comes next. But in the makings.
A making of video.
We also we had a making of video 2.5 years ago of how behind the scenes, I guess it was.
Maybe we'll create a new one.
Yeah, maybe do this. But the funny stuff is that the funny stuff, well, typically happens in German between us, so this is kind of hard to share, because then you would say, or Bavarian even, so you would say, okay, I understand.
That's the thing, of course. We don't talk English when it's just the two of us.
Yeah, so, that would be strange, I guess. So.
But still, definitely something, a good idea. Who are all there in your family? I'm not sure what you mean. I mean, parents and so on.
You don't have.
We don't have siblings.
Yeah, we don't have siblings.
That's the thing.
And we are not siblings too. So.
Thank you so much. And regarding Python, Django, yes, planned. TensorFlow, yes, wanted. Planned would mean that we have an active plan for when it's going to be out. It's on the radar, and it's not just like a far away idea, but it's also not something we're working on right now.
I guess on the list describes it again, so it's noted, but not.
But on the list does not mean, I put everything on the list. It really means it is on the short list, but even the short list is.
If we tell you it's on the list, then we really consider it. That's maybe the difference.
We had this. I'm bad at CSS, even though I have sound knowledge of React. That's not unnormal, because CSS is very different. We have a CSS course if they're interested in that, but overall CSS sometimes is looked at as something like you don't need to know as a developer. Depends on your job, I would say, but it certainly is challenging, especially building a great flexible design with CSS that works in all browsers is far from easy. What about WebAssembly? I should maybe create a video on that. WebAssembly is a thing, but just not a thing you really need right now in a lot of use cases, I would say. But I see it becoming a more important thing in the future.
Down here we have the retirement plans. Well, we are 32 and 31 at the moment, so not close to it, I guess. So we
like what we do, and
so at the moment, no plans on that.
What are polyfills? Is it useful? It's a technical question, but it's an easy one to answer. Polyfills are in the end little packages, little libraries you add to a development project. If you want to use a certain feature, which for example doesn't exist in Internet Explorer, you might be able to polyfill it by adding a library that emulates that feature and enables your other code to use it, so that you can use a certain feature across all browsers, for example.
So now I lost the track here a bit because I listened to you, so very good. So we have lots of new comments here in the chat box.
How long does it create? We at that? First of all, yeah.
For these live streams, I would strongly suggest that you run an introduction pre-stream for half hour beforehand, or send out an email to notify that the stream will be happening. We actually did that, not the pre-stream, but we sent out notifications on Discord, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So yeah, so you missed these, but actually we did our best to make it public.
And the recording of the stream will be online thereafter, hopefully, if we don't delete it accidentally. And but yeah, it's our first stream. We can definitely learn a lot. So any feedback, please share it.
And are you brothers? No, we are not. And I think your girlfriend is waiting for the dinner. Thank you for your time. Yeah. I guess it's a good thing. I guess we try to, I don't know how long we're going to do this, or should we try to come to an end and step by step?
We got so many questions. I feel maybe we continue for a little bit.
A little bit. We have 2 hours now, so a bit more, but then we'll see.
But if questions are staying unanswered, don't take it personal, and we'll get back to those either in a separate video or in a separate live stream. We thought we had to collect a lot of questions to make sure this doesn't dry out, but it turns out we get a lot of live questions.
Another business one a little bit. Do you think that it is real that you can increase your salary quickly moving between companies rather than just staying in the same for a long time? Based on my experience, yes, you can. Of course, you have to increase your skills. You have to learn something new. You have to improve your positioning and well, you're currently working, but yeah, it can help if you change the company because, well, if you make more experience than other companies, this can also increase your salary. Yeah. But yeah, it's not an advice that always works. It's just my experience.
Yeah. Get a lot of questions here. We're not going to be able to go through all of them, but in the end, it's about a plan, how we start learning something.
That's huge.
If it's brand new and there are courses and tutorials on it already, I often start with those to get a good, fast overview and idea, and also some established practices. But if something is very new and there are no courses, you of course have no other choice than to dive into the documentation. And either way, at some point I am going to dive into the documentation to learn all about that. Then I experiment with it in my own projects, and documentation can be hard, but thankfully in a lot of projects it's also gotten better. Do we worry that we sit in front of a computer too much?
Yes,
we definitely do, but
what can you do?
No, I mean, in the free time maybe another reason why we don't play a lot of video games.
But we can't answer all of these. Very sorry, but that's just not fair, I guess. But nice structured, nothing here, but it's just too much. Here we have something like, why are your courses so long? Well, because we tend to publish complete guides, and a complete guide should contain lots of information, lots of concepts. So it's hard to teach React in 2 hours, I guess. So the length is what it is, but you can always pick, you can do the basics part and then jump into parts you maybe might need in your project. You don't need to do the whole course to get started, right? So
yeah, exactly. It's an on-demand course, so you can really pick the parts you like. Maybe this one is interesting though. What are our 3 crucial habits? We talked about this earlier as well. I think really not giving up if you're facing something difficult or a problem is the most important part.
Yeah.
Besides that, we don't really need to motivate ourselves because it's our thing. We like what we do. Yeah. Not every day, of course. Nobody likes what he does every day, but generally.
And stay positive, I guess. It's also something. As we don't ignore things, how much money you make for YouTube and overall, we can make a living out of it. That's what we want to comment on here. So
importance of sleep. How important is sleep to you? It is important. So working like 16 hours every day or 20 hours every day to sleep 4 or 3 hours, I think in the long term is not going to work. So yes, this is important. We got more questions from the same guy. These are really nice questions and good.
That's why I try to balance it a bit.
But we have to consider everyone.
How old are you? 32?
31. I had to think about that yesterday.
Yeah, I also thought about it because when we started this, you were below 30. Yeah, I completely lost it. That's just not. I'm not experienced with this live.
Yeah.
When the Cooking with Max course, the cooking is only a special thing on Christmas, actually. So
and there it looks like I've never cooked before in my life. Here, Trevor Media from Brad has even admired your channel. He's a great guy. Yes, we know, and Brad is. We know that we're a great channel. I mean, we know that he admired us, and Brad is a great guy too, and he has an amazing channel.
The thing about Brad is, as I said, we don't watch these other channels, to be honest, but I know some videos, obviously. Brad has this very nice laid-back style. You know, he doesn't fake, I guess. He's do you call it real? I guess. Yeah, he's real, and that's cool. So yeah. By the way, I guess there is also not something like competition between channels, at least not for us. So we don't know how this works. We are not YouTubers. If that, I don't know if that's a thing. If you have to make sure this one, I don't know. We just know these other channels.
Can you make a multiplayer card game with Flutter? You can generally build everything with everything. 1 second, but for games, you might also look into Unity or frameworks like this.
You have to make streams using YouTube functionality. A lot of persons can't connect to conversation. But what is missing here? We actually enabled everything. Not sure what you're referring to.
YouTube functionality.
Don't know. I mean, you can comment here in the chat box.
We got active viewers.
So not sure. So
if you could clarify what is missing. That would be great, because it is our first stream. We really absolutely might be messing some things up.
We are quite happy how it works, to be honest, but I guess it's not perfect yet. So
klingt bayerisch. Yes.
Ja.
Das ist richtig.
We cannot hide this, right?
Complete Nest course is not planned right now. How did we meet in university?
Is he Manu? Yes, I am. Hello.
Why are our girlfriends variables in the code and not constants? I think my girlfriend is a constant, at least in one course, but you're right.
And I'm married, so it's a very...
The good thing is our girlfriends probably wouldn't be able to tell, even if they would watch the videos.
When can we expect your new course? Soon.
Yeah,
there is soon update and new courses coming soon.
View 3 will have its own course, or will we update the existing course? Update the existing course.
Keep on publishing long courses. I like courses with 30+ hours. I like to learn more things. Yes and no. We will keep publishing huge courses, but also one of the reasons for Academind Pro, by the way, we also want to cover a bit more advanced topics, maybe, which can be condensed to shorter courses. Because not everybody wants to have these long courses. We talked about this a few minutes ago. You can also take long courses and then dive into dedicated sections, but we try to balance things. So yes, if you want long courses, you will get long courses, and you got lots of long courses already, but also shorter courses are on the list because, we try to balance things, right? That's what we want to do.
Here we got a feedback regarding that we should put on a slow mode here during live streams. I turned it on YouTube because I saw that it was getting spammed. I'm sorry we didn't do it here. We'll consider this for the future. Of course, we just didn't consider all things because
to be honest, my expectation, we said we don't know if it's 10, 50 or 100 people, and if it takes 10 minutes or an hour, and we are more than 2 hours now, 500 euros, that's just really great. So.
What else do we have? I'm skipping some questions here, but again, this will not be the last live stream. We will probably not collect questions in advance in the future because this is blowing up anyways.
And that's the thing. If you like this format, I guess a real live stream where everything is live, also that so no preparation in Discord, I think this would work quite well, to be honest. Everything works just perfect. Things, but we don't pay more attention to the live chat. Sorry, that was my bad a few minutes ago. I'm really sorry. As you see, I try to catch up a bit now, but we got the Discord chat going on as well, but Manuel is watching the YouTube chat, and so we're doing our best, but we got a lot of questions coming in. And I'm skipping some technical things here because Max answers some technical things here, so we try to find the balance between technical and bit more private. So not perfect yet, I guess, but I hope you like. I guess you like it for 2 hours now, so I guess that's. Got a question here, technical one about Web VR, Web XR. I got no courses planned on that because I have no experience with that. And what YouTubers do we like to watch? Just some German YouTube stuff, typically. I mean, sorry, I was just lost. Which YouTubers do you like to watch? We like, Montana Black. We like to watch Montana Black. That's a really huge German streamer, and We like some German entertainment YouTube guys, you could say.
We don't watch. It depends, but I watch YouTube sometimes during lunch or something like that. But
and also big one is like me for JP Performance is like a car channel, as I like cars, as I said many times. But we don't have that subscribe YouTube thing. We just check our home screen here, and if it gets refreshed and if an interesting topic, then we watch it. So
do we plan a course on more Node.js frameworks? Not at the moment, to be honest, because we haven't worked too much with those. Regarding these essential skills, essential engineering skills, design patterns. Yeah, maybe that is something we also could cover more in courses or YouTube videos. I see where you're coming from, like an advanced course. We'll put it on the idea list. It's a bit too complex to answer here in the live stream, which is why I'm not diving deeper into it right now.
Is there any course available for Vue.js, Docker, and Kubernetes? I don't know how it's pronounced.
Kubernetes, yeah.
Kubernetes. Vue course, yes. Docker.
The Docker course will also contain Kubernetes, but it will not be a course on Vue and Docker. It will be a Vue course update and a separate Docker course.
And here we have how to learn React. Complete guide would be a good starting point. Not really, but don't have to take the course, but we have the React course, so that's a good one.
Thank you so much here, David. Awesome. Thank you so much. And thanks to everyone. I skipped a couple of messages. Don't want to be unfair there. I read them all, so really thank you.
Deno once again. So I'm really, let's see how this is going to turn out on YouTube. Really looking forward to that because you seem to like this. Deno again.
Yeah, Deno. Redux Saga. We got a section about this in the React course.
Blockchain.
PHP first to learn Node.js. No, that will not help you. Node.js uses JavaScript, so JavaScript knowledge helps, but PHP not so much. Blockchain platforms before? No, not really. Thank you so much here. What is the future of JavaScript? Maybe we should create a YouTube video on that. Generally, it's there to stay. So much is driven by JavaScript, so definitely important and will stay important and maybe become even more important.
Course with professional projects that are close to reality. Difficult thing because we do have real life apps or real applications, but if you want to build a really huge application, then the course will be, 500 hours. Hard to do, to be honest. So a course project is always a balance between real life and you want to learn something. So these two things have to connect in the end. So you can never build a Facebook clone or something like that in a course. It's just impossible. So
there is a reason why big companies have whole teams of developers for something like this. You can always build simplified clones. You can build shiny clones, which cover a small subset of features, but building like a big real Amazon clone or something like that is honestly not really possible in a tutorial. That would be like a 1,000-hour course. Can I get a certificate for completed courses? You do on Udemy and our own platform.
Where can I learn Vue? Where can I find the Vue course? On our website, full courses section. Here you can find our courses section. Here you can find all the courses.
Which backend language should I start with? Node.js is great, especially if you know JavaScript already.
That's good. You got hired.
Congratulations.
That's great. Yeah.
No, Flutter GraphQL is not planned at the moment.
More GraphQL.
I think we don't need more JavaScript frameworks at the moment for frontend. It's funny, when I released Svelte a year ago, we got surprisingly many comments complaining about the number of JavaScript frameworks out there. I think the reason is that people feel like they have to learn everything. You don't. You can look into everything and see if you like it, but you don't have to learn everything just because it's there. But I think we have enough. Please more GraphQL. Yeah, I agree. That would be nice.
Could you please tell us where you're from? We said that already. We are both from Munich or from Germany.
Germany, Munich, Bavaria. Pick your level of detail. Thank you so much.
I remember watching the German game show Telematch match in the 1970s when I was 5 years old. I don't know that, and to be honest, we are a bit younger at least. So sorry, we were born in the 80s. So
Process of making courses, we covered that, but the question is also over an hour old.
They are not reading YouTube comment. I'm not sure what you mean. We do read the chat box here. We also read the comments on YouTube, but not if you're commenting now below our 500K special video, then I'm not reading these comments. So I'm just commenting or reading the live comments here in the stream.
We do read those just off screen, which is why you're not seeing them here. You only see Discord, but we have it off screen.
So we have it off screen, so we cannot share both here.
We could, but we didn't set it up, and we don't want to set it up and mess up everything. Therefore,
if we change this perfect setup here, then the stream will be over. So.
Yeah, what do we have in YouTube? I mean,
no, I skipped some things. I'm aware of that, but I'm now at the latest stage. Are you a Jordan fan? Have you been watching Last Dance? I know Last Dance. You watched it?
The first episode. I have yet to watch the rest.
And I'm not a basketball fan, to be honest. But I like that cap, and I know Michael Jordan, right? So with the Bulls back then, it was a greatest player ever, probably. But I'm not a basketball expert, so I don't know. So yeah, not a fan, just like the cap, but cool guy. I guess that's my thoughts about Jordan.
And I like this, at least the first episode. I have yet to watch the rest. Russia sent us some love. Love back to Russia.
I just watched Our Planet yesterday. Talking about it's a Netflix series, right? This Last Day. I just watched Our Planet.
Amazing.
It's amazing and scary, I must say. Yeah. And I didn't know that Free Willy, that orca thing, that these animals eat penguins. I was really maybe sad.
Did you see that scene with what's the name of these animals? Albatross.
The albatross, the big birds with the free metal.
No, but I don't mean the birds. I mean the.
Albatross. We have to check this. Sorry. What's the big? Albert, der Vogel.
I don't mean a bird. That doesn't matter. There's there are animals jumping down from a cliff.
It's called walrus.
Walrus, walrus.
Walrus. However, Our Planet, if you have Netflix, it's well done, but it's a really
walrus.
Walrus. Okay. Yeah.
Plans on authorization courses. It is something I played around with. It's a huge topic, so not at the moment, at least.
If you could get in your car right now, where would you go? I would drive home.
Yeah, me too.
No, but we'll have dinner at McDonald's, I guess, together today. So a really special location here.
Yeah.
So yeah.
We got 350 open questions here.
We won't. We can continue a bit, but we won't be able to because it just keeps going. And we have below 500 viewers now, so you're getting tired a bit. So I'm not sure. I learned that streaming normally takes about 6 to 7 hours. So
but I think it's also a bit more
content than it's more. By the way, if you would like to have more. Would you think we should do a gaming stream, or would you say this is totally off and not something you want us to do? I don't know. I'm just asking.
Yeah, or in general, share some ideas on what you would like in future streams. So what should we do there? Something like this, something different. Share your ideas.
But besides coding, as I said, because I guess live coding, how much does a walrus weigh? I mean, 1 ton, I guess, or something. Really huge.
Possible,
or more. I don't know. You're talking too fast. Sorry, we can slow down a bit.
We have so many questions.
I guess that's the thing. We come into this rush mode because we see that this keeps popping up and popping up. So sorry for that. We'll make it slower.
How many countries have you traveled?
Not many.
Not that many, 10?
So many.
Yeah, I mean Austria, Italy, France, US, Sweden, Denmark, Portugal, Spain.
Okay.
In Europe, a lot of countries, Czech Republic.
I've been to Germany, well, obviously. Then I have been to Portugal, Austria, Americas, not Europe, I know. USA, Mauritius. I guess that's it. Not traveling a lot, to be honest.
How big is your office in Munich?
I could
not that big.
Again, you can see the length, the broad. It's like this is the length and the broadness. I know what it's called, and the length is, I guess, 5 meters maybe.
Yeah,
over there,
like 20 square meters.
Yeah, something like this.
What's your favorite cuisine? What do you like to eat? Favorite food? And favorite food region. I like Italian a lot, but I also like US food, barbecue and so on. I like German food. I Actually, a lot of I like Indian food, and my favorite food is probably something German, something like no, it's actually spaghetti bolognese. That was totally wrong pronounced, I guess, but
And you cooked it with the wrong recipe for years, but that's.
But it tastes well. What's your favorite dish?
I don't have a favorite dish, I guess. I also like Italian cuisine, let's call this.
Yeah.
But I like Greek food. Yeah, I guess that's it. Italy, Greece, yeah, these are the two nations.
Yeah, it's also amazing.
And also German food. I mean, but yeah.
Do you guys have friends from Bosnia? I think we have one now, but no, I have no friends from there. Can we reach out to you if we need help in a real project? We don't offer any personal coaching support, advisory, or anything like that. So at the moment, that's not something we can offer, but you can always go to our community, use the topic channels there, or use the Find a Specialist channel here, and search for help there and find other community members who can help you. What's your favorite beer? Tegernseer or Augustina?
It's a standard answer in Munich, but it's what it is. Yeah, I mean, nothing special. Interview prep course?
Not at the moment. But the algorithm course might help a bit with that. The upcoming one. That's really amazing. Super nice. Like to everyone, thank you so much. Yeah, we answered the country question. Do we visit developer conferences? We've been to the Udemy conferences, which are obviously not developer conferences. No, I actually would love to go there, not necessarily as a speaker, because I'm not sure what I could share there, but going there is something I wouldn't rule out in general. It's just also always a time thing. Like it takes up, since most of them are in the US or something like this, it easily takes up a couple of days, and it's not always easy to find time for that.
But we've been to a meetup in Munich 2 years ago. One time
at Google.
At Google, yeah. Nest course not planned.
No Nest course planned. Do we do consulting? Not at the moment.
When is the live stream by Max?
It's right now.
This one here.
It's the same.
That's nice. Yeah.
How do I connect? You click on the link, hopefully, and it works.
Have you ever deleted a video you published on Academind? No.
I mean, I think technically I might have deleted one because we had a problem in there, like an audio or a video problem, and I republished it, but we never deleted anything.
We're talking about YouTube, I guess. On Udemy, of course, because we update things.
On video, yes. On Udemy, yes, because we update things.
Do you have a C# course? No, not at the moment.
No. I used to work with C#, so it might be something for the future, but not planned right now.
Old 32, 31, we had that. We as code theme, let's ask last time. Dark plus the standard theme, actually.
Yeah, I think it's a standard theme. What would we guys do if we wouldn't be teaching? I would be working as a web developer, freelancer or employed.
I guess I wouldn't, because I would never have focused that much on it, because it was more a hobby and not like that job perspective, which just came with Academind. So I would be in a consultancy, I guess.
That's right. Honest. Yeah.
Because I never thought that this would be something I would enjoy this much, and that I would do it on a daily basis like this, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Who's the bad cop and good cop?
He's the annoying cop, you know. No.
We can both be both. I mean, if we have something where we need a bad and good cop, which we typically have if we're dealing with suppliers or anything like that, and
you are the bad cop, actually, I guess. Yeah. If I think no, but I think if it comes, I would say so. If we talk about something, no, not that he's not like the bad guy, but I think if I would honest, I think I would be the good one, I guess. So because I'm like that, you know. Come on, let's calm down.
Okay, yeah, we'll talk about that later.
You know, how to stay productive. We had that, I guess.
Have you ever worked in tech-related company before? No. I mean, as a freelancer, worked with tech and did tech jobs, but not employed in a tech-related company.
Machine learning projects in the plans, but not in the next months. Like this maybe. Is that okay? Nest, we have content on that. That's an interesting one here. Was your business background helpful in managing Academind? Definitely, yes. Because maybe especially in Germany, I guess, I don't know if that's in other countries the case too, you have lots of things to keep in mind when you run a business in the end. So this starts, or just to name the tax side, for example, you have to do your taxes correctly. Otherwise you get big problems. And by big problems, I mean really big problems.
Yeah.
So yeah, it helped a lot. It also helped to how can you found a company? How can you do these things?
Yeah.
What are the organizational steps you have to do?
Yeah.
Which things do you have to keep in mind? Do I have to collect bills? All these things, yeah, very helpful. Would be a separate video of 2 hours, I guess, if we would share details here, but definitely we are not regretting our business background here, no.
I saw a question over there,
sorry,
but
I have to check which one.
I'm not sure.
It keeps jumping, that's the problem. Here, C#. What about Python? More to come, but we have a full Python course. We talked about this already.
You got a couple of repeated questions
Deno again,
here.
that's really insane. Yeah. What about Deno?
Deno?
PHP course? No plans on PHP at the moment.
Will we keep updating courses on Udemy? Yes, we will.
Which do you prefer more, teaching or developing?
Both. Really both.
Yeah. I think you don't want how should I say? You don't want to talk all the time, to record videos, and you don't want to prepare things or develop something all the time. Yeah. So I guess it's the nice mix, which makes this job quite good actually.
What mobile phones are you using? We're using iPhones.
I guess the XS. I don't know how this. I don't know.
Yeah, not the latest one, but the one before that.
What keeps you motivated during this lockdown? Again, a Corona thing, but yeah, to be honest, we won't complain. It's fine for us, but these were hard times coming to that.
Yeah,
motivation was not always as it used to be. I must say this. It's difficult to be. This social isolation stuff was very hard for both of us. So yeah, how do we do it? But you just keep going. What should you do?
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, it's. I can understand why people have problems to be motivated in such times because it's a very special occasion, right? We never had this before. So I mean, it's important to continue, but to just say, yeah, I don't care. I don't know. I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Max, I see you haven't updated your Svelte course in quite some time. Not a criticism, just wanted to know why this is the case. Because it didn't need update. I recorded it with Svelte version 3, and that still is the latest version, and therefore the course still covers Svelte.
Have you ever had an IQ test? I didn't.
No.
And what is your internet provider and your internet speed? We don't know here.
That's the question I saw, yeah.
This one, we don't know.
We don't know here in the office. At home, it's, I don't know if you should say just a standard Munich
100 megabit.
Not Vodafone, I can tell that.
Yeah.
But, okay, we got more and more open questions here.
Max, don't touch your face so many times. Keep distance your finger and mouth.
That doesn't work for me.
Yeah. So
I like to touch myself, I guess.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
Yeah.
The things keep coming. That's insane.
Why the name Academind? Because we liked it. We thought like the mixture of academics and the mind, which you need to think and so on, right? That's why we came up with this name.
I'm 40 right now. Can I switch to a web development career? Yeah. Of course, there is no limitation when it comes to the age. I mean, it's all a question about what can you learn and what do you want to do in the end.
Yeah.
But of course, I mean, an obvious thing is, if you get older, it's always more difficult to change your life and to start new things. I mean, that's quite a normal thing, I guess. But I guess 40, I mean, I'm 32, right? I'm not that far away from 40. So, I mean, why not?
I think you can always do that. It might be worth, if you have a job, it might be worth to dive into web development side by side with that job, maybe to find out if you really like it. But if that's the case, I don't see any reason not to do so. And I mean, developers, web developers, but developers in general are in high demand. So I think you can always go back, right? So why not give it a try? Do we speak English or German in the office and amongst us? We speak German. Do we plan more Microsoft-based product courses? Probably not.
Not because Microsoft, evolves greatly when it comes to programming with VS Code and stuff.
And then their Azure cloud and so on.
And I enjoy working with Power BI a lot, but not planned, to be honest.
Yeah. That's thank you so much, Simon, if that's your name, which I guess it is. What do we think about Laravel? Laravel is amazing. I just don't happen to work with it a lot right now, but it is amazing. It's really a great PHP framework. Thank you all so much for the very nice comments here. That's amazing. Yeah, that's really amazing to read. That honestly means a lot to us.
Here we have another car comment, so I have to read this one. What's the fastest speed you drove with a car? For me, it's, I guess, 290, which is allowed in Germany, by the way. So for you, it's also fast, I guess.
260.
So you can do this here. So this is quite nice.
And as you can tell, we both don't have Ferraris.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of nice comments here. Course on Nest.js is not planned. Have you had advice for a female web developer who just starts in the industry? That's interesting. I mean, it's hard for us, of course, to give you personal advice because we obviously aren't female. We also don't. I don't know other female developers in person, so not like a friend of mine or so. I think what's hard for female web developers is that the industry tends, at least in parts, to have a certain kind of sexism, and like it can be hard to break through that. That's probably one of the most difficult things for which you need to find a strategy and also a good environment. I would imagine that there are environments where this is more problematic than others. Companies, for example, that are more prone to that. But I also think it is something which is improving, especially the bigger companies like Google and so on. I think there you have much better chances and also a much nicer environment simply. But if we leave that aside, of course, thankfully, there isn't really much of a disadvantage or advantage because it's just web development in the end. So everyone can learn that, obviously. And I think that's the one thing which I mentioned, that it could be the most challenging part, and where the environment you step into matters a lot.
And I also think that this male-female thing improved, I guess, in the last years, right?
Yeah.
So it used to be worse, I guess. I'm also obviously not a female, but I guess you shouldn't think too much about such things. And if you're in a company where this is a problem, then you probably don't want to work there, to be honest. So I got one because I see it sometimes. Can we get a promo and a discount for this and that? You know, we got, how should I say that? If you check our website, you find the course for attractive prices. You find the course on Academind Pro for attractive prices. You have the subscription. You have many options to access our content, and you have the free YouTube channel. So please don't spam the chat with things like that. It's just a talk these days and not a, you know.
We do promotions from time to time. Yeah. When we do them, we announce, but we're also certainly not, especially on Academind Pro, we're not doing like the subscription costs $199 for a year, and we offer it all the time for $130. That's not what we do.
Because we had that initial offer when we started Academind Pro, and you know, it would be unfair for people who supported us there and to then tell them now it's cheaper. We would never do something like this. So,
and we rather picked a fair price in the first place. Yeah. So you get a lot of content for $19 per month in the end.
And we know you can discuss about pricing for hours. We don't want to do this now, but
we discussed it a lot before we said it.
That's the thing. We think a lot about the different students we have and how we can make everybody happy, and you can never do this. But I guess we have lots of different offerings now to access our content. Any course on algorithms? Yes, soon.
It's coming out very soon. Will services like Wix and Webflow steal front-end jobs? Services like Wix and so on are great for a lot of people to build their websites, to just get that problem out of the way. Just like you can use, let's say, tax software to do your taxes instead of paying an accountant. But for more difficult projects, for things where you need a lot of fine-tuning, for all those things, being able to work on your own or develop it on your own is of course worth a lot. And there is a reason why, for example, Amazon isn't built with Shopify or Wix, because they really want to fine-tune every detail to their requirements. And that's something only web developers can do. And that does not just apply for big companies, but imagine building something like Uber, even when they started and were small, with Wix. So that's probably not going to work. If on the other hand, you have like a small shop and you need an online shop, you probably are better off just using such a system, and paying a developer might not be what you want to do.
Here we have a comment, Elisha. She still faces the gender issue that's hard to read, to be honest, in these times. So obviously we are not totally fine here. Okay, that's okay. Weird thing.
Yeah, I mean that is a problem with the tech industry, that whole gender sexism thing. You read it a lot on Twitter as well, and that's really it's sad that we're still having this problem.
Why do you sell yourself or your soul to conglomerates instead of supporting free software foundations? That's a question I don't know what to say on that.
Is this for us?
It's for us, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know.
Is this for us, or is this?
I don't.
If it's for
I don't.
us,
I don't know to which conglomerate we sell our.
That's
soul.
the thing. If that's meant for us, I'm not sure if I should comment on this. Not sure what that is.
Yeah, you mean is he meaning the operating software, the operating system that we're not?
I'm not sure.
Linux?
Maybe you can clarify that. Just, as I said, I don't want to skip such maybe critical questions here because we are quite open. Your views on React Future, we had that already. You can find a video on the website about this.
Yeah, in the React section. Ja, vielen Dank nach Indien. Thank you very much to India.
Google Translate, that's cool. Hello from Canada. Greetings back. Thank you.
And the same to Romania and to everyone else. Sri Lanka, I see it all there. Thank you so much.
To the whole world. That's crazy, man.
What's the biggest threat to the web development jobs? At the moment, to be honest, I mean, to every web developer, a threat is if you stop learning, not because we want to sell our stuff, but because it's constantly evolving. You need to be willing to keep up with that, no matter if you do it with documentation on your own or with courses, but you need to be able to keep up with that. That's probably the biggest threat if you don't do that.
So we have a clarification now. Selling the soul to Google, Microsoft, Uber, Angular, and so on.
And yes, operating systems.
Yes, operating.
Well, it's simply not my. You might have a different opinion, but I don't have a problem with using these services. No. They work.
They help me.
They help me.
Daily life.
And Angular, for example, yes, it's by Google, but Angular is open source. So I don't know which services I should use instead of Google, Microsoft, Uber. I'd rather have a system that works and that my friends use and that's easy to use instead of a system that no one can use just because it's then not. But that's my opinion. It's of course fine if you.
That's the thing. I mean, there is no right or wrong here, I guess, but it's just our approach here. So yeah. Okay, it doesn't stop here. What about the Ionic 5 and Angular 9 in terms of?
Yeah, we got those covered.
We got those covered, yeah.
Got the favorite
just
beer
scrolled
again.
My question didn't answer. Sorry, Marco. Post it again. I'm really sorry if it's. It's so many questions here, so if you post it again, we'll see.
But again, it's not...
if you can run MongoDB on Heroku with Node.js, with your Node.js app, that's too, not the focus of this chat.
And I'm absolutely skipping some questions. I'm sorry about that. I'm just scanning through it, trying to find some new questions. And if I'm skipping one, it's not meant personally. This will not be the last stream we'll be doing. And in the future, we'll do live questions right from the start, which makes it much easier to keep up with them. Yeah. Because I'm almost 1 hour behind the stream here.
What kind of mic are you using? How's it called? A Rode
Procaster. Did I ever play Dark Age of Camelot? I didn't. Or no, I didn't.
Node.js, yeah, something is incoming.
Do I recommend to learn machine learning as a web developer? I would say at least look into it and learn the basics, yes. So something like TensorFlow, look into that and how it works and what the core algorithms and ideas are and so on. What do you think of Redux Toolkit and so on? I haven't worked with it, to be honest. I always use Redux the traditional way, I would say. So therefore, I can't share too much about that. Can someone stop the questions so we can get our answers? Yeah, we're going through it, but again,
Yeah, we
This
cannot
will not be the
completely
last
announce
one.
it.
We can't go through all that.
I mean, the thing is, it's probably not the last time we do something like this,
No.
so we will see. But we have to do this a bit different next time when it comes to.
Yeah.
We have to focus
So
onto one source for
sorry
the
to
question.
everyone who we skipped here.
Yeah. And to all the thank you comments here again, we said this already. Thanks back to all of you. This is insane what's going on right here, and also in general, really good, really good.
Yeah.
Here it's all, yeah. If I look here, I'm lost there. So this is.
I will scroll down a little bit, please.
Thank you. Here, Marco D. That was the.
Eleventy in particular, and the Jamstack in general.
So what about Eleven? You know this?
No, to be honest, I don't know it.
What about Eleventy in particular and the Jamstack?
Jamstack is amazing. I mean, our webpage is the Jamstack. We're using Gatsby there, so Jamstack is really nice to build all kinds of web applications, honestly, because it's so easy. It's great for search engine optimization. There might be use cases where it's not perfect if you have like highly dynamic content and so on, but for a lot of use cases, for blogs, for shops, not all kinds of shops, but some shops and so on, it's really amazing. I like the Jamstack a lot.
What are you currently binge watching? Binge watching is this you watch a whole
on
series. I watched Narcos like this, I guess. At least the Colombia part, you know, with Pablo Escobar.
Yeah, he got me to binge watch Narcos too, but that was around Christmas. At the moment, I'm watching this. Watching Netflix. It's something with wilderness. Win the wilderness. I'm watching this at the moment. Is there any update to the Flutter course? It just got an update 2 weeks ago. We're not bringing out weekly updates.
Do you own cryptocurrencies?
We got a couple.
We were the great investors at the peak, I guess, 2 years ago or something. Not with a lot of money, thank God, but we
got a couple of ripples and got half a Bitcoin or anything like that.
And Verge, I guess we also bought. How was it called? I don't even remember the name.
Half, like 0.2 Bitcoins. So yeah.
So we are big, heavily invested. You could say.
Can you apply it to a job with just HTML, CSS, and JavaScript? Basic JavaScript, for most jobs, that will probably not be enough, to be honest. You will probably need a bit more experience, need a framework, and so on, but yeah. So I'm scrolling over this a bit faster.
Yeah.
See you plan out a project on livestream, maybe a whiteboard example. Did we actually get the answers to the question what people would have seen in a live stream?
Not that I saw it, no. Maybe we can do this at the end of the stream, that we kind of collect ideas. That would be good. So
feedback in general, yeah.
We'll see how long this goes. I don't know if
I think we're nearing the end.
I would say
we were never going to reach the end here, I fear.
So let's check out some more questions and then we'll finish this thing. But then with your feedback, what we could do in other live streams. But let's maybe check.
Favorite games, movies. We shared this. I guess we didn't talk about movies. I like Pulp Fiction. That's my favorite movie, probably, if I would have to name one.
I like the John Wick movies. How's it called? John Wick? I guess it's called.
Yeah.
Is it called with Keanu Reeves? That's not my favorite, but I just watched it some weeks ago. All three of these.
It's the last movie I remember.
Yeah, binge watching, you know.
With the current situation in the world, would it be better to start learning Chinese and Vue? I wouldn't do it. That's not something I would use as a decision criteria.
And what is better, you know, better for what?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I guess with current situation, you don't mean Corona, but you mean China on the rise in general and so on. But I mean, the other countries, US, Europe, and so on, is
they're still there,
and still not going anywhere.
I'm pretty optimistic that they will be there in 10 years. So TensorFlow, we talked about that on the list, but on the very not near future list.
Yeah.
More cooking videos. This comes quite frequently.
Yeah,
you know?
Maybe we should do some.
By the way, this duck burger thing we did on Christmas, I don't know if you saw it. It was really good. This wasn't a fake on the video. It was really nice burger. Do you shop online or go to shop? I think this changed a lot. Some years ago, I guess both of us tend to shop online a lot.
Yeah.
In the meanwhile, I prefer to go to the local shops, to be honest,
Yeah.
because of this thing that the cities are dying a bit. All these smaller shops
Yeah.
are moving away or are not existing anymore. So I do buy on Amazon some things, in other online shops, but I try to shop locally if it's possible.
Yeah, me too. I fall asleep almost every time I'm watching your courses, not because of the content, they are great. Yeah, at least they are good for that then, I guess. My favorite IDE, Visual Studio Code, I guess for both of us.
Yeah. Are you both brothers? No, again,
Nope.
Horror movies, we had that.
Yeah, I'm afraid of that.
Do you think 8 months is enough to work as a freelancer in the front end, knowing that I study 4 to 6 hours a day? In theory, yes. Practically, we don't know what you can do, what you learn. And so these are these questions you can't. We do not know you. We do not know your skills. So theoretically, yes. That's what I would say. Yeah, practically.
Will you make an iOS development course? No, not with Swift or anything like that. That's not planned right now. I literally skipped my question. Yeah, very sorry about that. We're skipping certainly some questions.
Lots of questions.
Nothing personal.
Is content creation your full-time business? We answered that before. In the end, yeah, this whole Academind thing is what we do all day, because we talked about the different things we have to do right here. So we're not bored. Let's say it like this. So got enough to do.
Dart on server side. I don't think it's a real thing, a big thing, or something that will become very important. Do I know any Argentines living in Germany? There certainly are, but I have none in my circle of friends, to be honest. So I don't know them in person, I think, unless I'm overlooking someone.
Me neither.
Have you contributed to open source software? Yeah, a little bit. But I'm not doing this on the Academind GitHub accounts.
What's going on here again? Who is this? Generally texting stupidly privately. Yeah. Here, I just read that comment. What's going on right here again in the community? Not sure.
Yeah, but private. Yeah, I mean, we don't ban people that just message us, but we don't answer, and we don't even read private messages on Discord, to be honest.
No, I'm not sure if he got a message, private message.
Oh.
That's why I'm asking. For texting.
Okay, if you were texted,
if you let us
privately,
know, because then we.
Yeah, you can always let us know about this. For example, send an email to support@academind.com with some proof,
then we'll
and we can look into this. The plant, we had that.
That's plant. It's a plastic plant. It's a shame.
This is a question in German. How much you should charge for a web dev project? Obviously, impossible to answer. It depends way too much on the website, the features you got in there, your track record, and so on. But the one thing I can tell you is don't charge too little, because that's the first thing you always do when you start off. That's the first thing I was inclined to do when I started as a freelancer, and it's hard to get out of that if you start at a too low price. And if someone's not willing to pay you a fair price, then even if you need a job, it's not worth doing a job which is not paying well. And I mean, you should calculate your costs, and that does not just mean what you spend, but also what you need to earn to have a living, to pay taxes and so on, and take that base hourly rate, and then as you calculate how many hours you're going to need for that project roughly. If you want, deduct something from that, but go with that rate.
Another personal one: which place you're planning to travel after lockdown? I don't have travel plans, to be honest, at the moment. So for me, it's boring. But maybe Austria. Maybe Austria is close to Munich. It's the mountains are there. So maybe a trip to Austria. Yeah, that would be my answer here.
Yeah, that's the realistic answer. Probably Austria, because it will be one of the easier countries to go to. Long term, I got a lot of countries: Canada, US, a lot of countries in Europe. I would love to go to Africa, to some countries there. So yeah. There's a long list.
Should we then slowly come to an end?
I think I'm not reaching the end here. I thought I'm reaching it because this question is 5 minutes ago.
No, but here that's just.
But if I look at the scroll
keeps
bar,
coming, right? Is this working correctly with the time?
Yeah,
but it's 7 minutes ago, so this makes sense.
Yeah. I guess I'm going to scroll to the end here, and I know I'm skipping questions now, so please, I'm sorry about that. But
yes, but then it's important now. Now it's your turn to share ideas in the live stream now, at Discord or the YouTube live stream at the chat. What could we do in future live streams? Do you like that format? Yeah, and if we would do it again, what would be something you would like to see? So just
also some feedback you have here. As I said, future live streams will probably only enable the Discord chat once it starts, so that we don't have the same situation here. Though I think we went for a lot of questions.
And one thing here, if you can show the office next time, yeah, we'll see. It's just one room, so this should be possible.
Yeah. Then how can I become an administrator or a moderator, I guess you mean, of the channel? We got 2 moderators. We just started with them. At the moment, we're perfectly happy. We're not looking for new ones. But if you stand out, if you have a positive attitude, and we might recognize you and we might message you for such things.
And thanks to our moderators, by the way.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Especially
since we overwhelmed you with that, and we didn't let you know in advance. Now that I think about that,
it's a really great job.
How can we contact you privately? That's not something we do, because you see which messages we get here during the live stream. And
exactly what that's really cool what you see right here. If we would do that, it would not help anybody, because we cannot. How could you answer all these emails and messages? It's just impossible.
Yeah. And then we're going to read all the feedback you're writing here. So even if it's scrolling out of the screen really quick.
We were used to seeing you guys live. Yeah. We also like the live thing here, to be honest, because videos are not fake, but videos are not the real thing, because a video is a perfect result in the end, and this is what we really are. We speak English obviously here, which is not what we normally do, but we couldn't prepare this thing, right? So we couldn't test what a live stream would look like. Yeah. So
Any plan shaving that beard? I did that a couple of years ago. I didn't like the look, so I will shorten it a bit. I will trim it a bit, but shave it off entirely.
There is a video on YouTube where you have that beard.
It's a Christmas video from 2016, around Christmas 2016. There you can see me without a beard.
Yeah, but so far,
I think if you have any feedback, please post it. We'll keep this channel open maybe for an hour or so. Then we're going to close it on Discord and reopen it for the next stream. But you can always use the feedback channel for feedback.
I guess what we can tell you, we didn't talk about that before, but there will be another live stream because it's cool and it's also fun, to be honest.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We hope you also liked it. We know we skipped some questions, so sorry about that. Will not be the last one. It was really amazing. Got a lot of nice feedback and you are amazing, so that's really something.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that's with less beard, but
there's another one with no beard.
Yeah, I think that's here on YouTube, Academind. If I search our own channel, which is of course a great channel.
Here we are live now at the moment. That's interesting.
Let me search on this channel for Christmas. If I find the video there.
But there you had a fake.
This one. I had the fake beard, and then at some point I take it off, and I have these these great visual effects here, like the snowflake.
Like then you didn't use VS Code, I guess.
And then here, the beard is attached to my hat here, and then it comes off, and you can watch the
special
end
effects
for yourself.
Insane.
So yeah, thank you all for the very nice feedback.
Shave your beard and you have 1 million subscribers. Yeah.
That's something we can do.
Way to go there.
And so thank you all.
I don't know how you end a stream. We never did that.
But I think we just have to end it at some point.
And we would normally say thanks a lot for watching. See you in the next videos. But here,
see you in the next stream, I guess. And thank you all for being part. Thanks again to our moderators. You did a great job. Next time we'll let you know in advance.
Yeah.
That's our bad, but was the first time.
Almost time for Tagesschau. Yeah,
that's true.
That's the Germans, you know.
Time for McDonald's for us.
Actually, I will have to shop some groceries, you know, and that's too late now. I will get I have big problems.
You can go to the gas station.
Yeah, whatever. No, but then thanks a lot, guys, and see you in the next videos, in the next stream, and So bye. Okay, so